3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Quests and Chaos. We're the Chaos Agents, and tonight we're talking movies.
Apparently that's what we're doing.
We're talking dead celebrities.
Which is one of my favorite Easy Life songs, by the way.
It's an uplifting day.
Sure, let's roll with that.
2020 like life is a bitch.
I've never. Yeah.
So if you notice, Bo is replaced with a swashbuckling halfling on the overlay. He is not here. He's not feeling well, so he's not going to be here tonight, which is fine because we're going to a library, and we know that Remy has no interest in reading a book.
He's illiterate. That's why, probably.
Whoa! Don't go starting rumors about him when he's not here to defend himself.
I'm just saying, I've never seen him read a book. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So first I want to get into a number of small announcements. We did a huge, massive giveaway of over $200 worth of stuff. And bye-bye, Aaron.
Bye, Aaron. Nice having you.
I was just about to ask, is Aaron frozen?
Hold on, let me This is a
par for the course.
This is the emergency dump that might not have audio on it. Okay, it still has audio on it.
We have audio? Okay.
Okay.
Hi guys. It's chaotic. It's just been that kind of week.
The secret sauce is revealed.
His floor had he ran out of bandwidth in his floor.
I'm telling you, he should have gone and gotten that cushion sooner. He built up all them bruises.
He actually, I wonder if he's got his internet plugged in. I wonder. Lauren, get off Netflix just for a few hours, please. Hey,
I thought you banned me for my awesome joke, but no, my Wi-Fi just.
You dropped a joke,
Aaron,
dropped the mic, and disappeared.
Aaron, that was literally what I just brought up. You're using Wi-Fi?
Mm-hmm.
Unprofessional.
It's in the
why?
other room.
I mean, so am I.
Because
I specifically bought Aaron a 100-foot Ethernet cable.
You didn't come to the pre-show. I'm waiting for my desk to come in. That's why I'm on a floor currently. And then the Ethernet will be thoroughly plugged.
Explain to me how the desk works into you plugging into your router.
Because this room, let's get into the nitty gritty of this. This room is at least like 40 feet from that router. And I don't want a blue cable going like just straight, like a clothesline straight through my house apartment. We're going to trip over it.
In 100 feet, there's 60 feet worth of slack in your and you know what? Whatever. Let's hear this joke now. I'm primed. It better be good. Let's hear this Wi-Fi ending joke. Run it. Do it. Go.
The desk comes tomorrow.
I'm so glad.
That's the joke.
Is that the joke that you told before your Wi-Fi disappeared?
No, I said the life is a bitch thing, and then I died.
I think Aaron's Wi-Fi is like, ugh, I can't take this anymore.
I'm letting him get away with this, and then it put itself out of misery.
Hi everyone.
We are
welcome to the show, guys.
We are not playing Dungeons and Dragons until there are 30 viewers on, so you better go tell some people.
Honey,
don't test the Wi-Fi, man. Do not put the Wi-Fi under greater pressure.
I don't know why it happens.
Announcements. These are the announcements. Kickstarter is going on right now. Nord Games are doing their Ultimate Bestiary, Revenge of the Horde. That's not it. I grabbed the wrong book. Miniatures. They have reached their goal. So it's funded. So now you don't have to worry. Will they? Won't they? They will. And you can get some minis. I think they just added another tier of like an army where they they give you multiples of each one. So the previous highest one was, it's like one of each mini, and now they've added in where you get like 3 of the different orcs and stuff. So it's more money.
Of course it
But
is. And more
awesome
mini.
miniatures and awesome company.
That's true.
All right. So the other thing is we're still looking good for October 15th for the Birds of Paradise official Kickstarter launch. So that will be, really, if Indoor Games is a big company, they've reached their goal. If you want to save your money, there's dice. There's dice. So
there's dice.
Ooh. Options, you say?
Themed dice, exactly. So, maybe save your money from that. That's fine. And you know what? Back Birds of Paradise. It's the official, unofficial dice of the Call of Cthulhu show on here.
Yeah, the ones that Ezra's going to turn Alexandria into the next bride of the Dark Pharaoh or some shit. I don't know.
Dark Pharaoh's got a pharaoh.
Yeah, apparently.
We are gonna do a giveaway tonight of these orange Libris Arcana Orcana dice. Should I roll with them tonight or use roll 20?
Do it.
I see Warren. Anyway, so we're going to do this giveaway. There's more people on. All right, so
Forgot that's a health concern. If you
what is
if you touch those dice, it's a health concern. And we're not that chaotic.
Does it add or decrease the value of the dice that you use at first?
I personally think because there's more than just like 10 sets of the Arcana dice out there. What makes them special is that they came from us.
Yes.
And Thomas kissed them.
No, Thomas don't pull that shit.
That's a yeah, Warren.
Warren. That is one thing I have not missed about being in the studio is watching Warren blatantly abuse his dice.
What? They love it.
I miss the dice tower.
That's what
I don't. I see the dice tower. I don't miss it.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad as long as it was off on the side of the table and not like blocking Warren's face.
Which it never did.
Well, it's also, needed for when somebody is missing for us to be able to, prop up some sort of guest
box, perhaps.
Guest star. Yes. All right. So, I think that's the announcements. MKid405, that's a generalization of the email address of that person, has won the big giveaway of all of that stuff. Wow, that was a big gap in there.
Congrats.
And congratulations to that person. Really hope they email me back because, time's wasting. They don't get back in like 3 or 4 days. I might just again. Done.
You get the lotto thing, right? You get like 2 weeks, no one claims the lotto winnings, like back into the pool.
Makes sense.
I'm just gonna go do a little Google. Actually, I'm not gonna Google. I'm gonna go straight to their website because I know DragonTurtleGames.com. 19th, 10/19. So October 19th, they're doing Terminal Overdrive, which is their new Kickstarter, which is new stuff plus the opportunity to buy all of the old stuff in printed format. Because they ran out, right? So they did a print run and then they ran out, and you couldn't get it. The only way to get it was from our giveaway contest, and so they're gonna do that Kickstarter coming on October 19th. And Robert is good people, so he we like Carbon. I kind of want to get back to playing it, so that's the thing that's out there. Warren, I'll just push that on you and say, figure that out.
That's the thing that's out there, Warren.
But we are in talks. The deck that I am making, we're in talks. So preliminary. I got a preliminary. Okay, we're going to have an official third-party Carbon 2185 product. Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
so excited.
Nice.
That's a super early spoiler. It just means I have to work harder and
Yeah. Well, and yeah, that's one of the reasons why I announced NaNoWriMo on my Facebook to have people keep me accountable, to be like, hey, Tiana, you writing? No, I was doom scrolling. I should go write.
It is the future. There's so much stuff probably to have fun with that luck, with that deck that you're making. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
All right, nice. So I am with that. We're going to get to. So I'm going to try and get back to bits. So the bits and the boy and that kind of stuff. There's some behind the scenes workings on it. If you notice down in the bottom of the screen here, we've got our Nord Games subscriber luck deck. We've bumped that up a little bit to 40. That is not per session. That just kind of as people subscribe, that goes there. Twitch Prime totally works. Above it, we switched out the Tavern upkeep for a little while, and we've put in follower giveaways. So these are big goals, right? We have 2347 followers right now. We're trying to get to 3,000 followers, and when we do, we are going to do a book giveaway. This very book at 3,000 followers. And then every 1,000 thereafter, we're going to do some more books. So big products.
Are you talking about on
Twitch followers? It's free. You don't even have to subscribe. It's free.
Easy as pie.
Yep. And we are 65, 67 subscribers away from breaking 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, also free. And when we do that, we are going to post a thank you video, and people who comment on that video are going to be entered into a drawing to win a tablet holder / dice tray created by our very own Squeal the Bard.
Which I need to get to you. I need to get that down to the studio at some point in the near future. I have it. I just need to get it to you.
Yes. So tell your friends, tell them to subscribe, because the sooner that happens, the sooner it's going to be great. And the sooner somebody can start using that awesome dice tray. I forget what it says. It's in Latin on the front. Do you know what it means?
It translates to the die has been cast.
Nice. That is very cool.
Right. It's apparently something that Julius Caesar said at some point, because why not?
Very good.
Awesome. And
speaking of Squeal the Bard, he has given us 500 bits to Andraste.
Why?
You slap Remy once and for all.
Ah, fair.
Well, he's not here tonight, and I'm not slapping a man when he's not here. Sorry.
That's
look at that.
Time to do that.
24 months for our very own Urban Mask. Amy isn't even at 24 months.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Good man.
Wow.
I've been waiting for so long to share that. I've been at like 23 months for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Come on.
It's time.
I'll subscribe soon. Don't worry.
At least hit follow, Aaron, please.
I did. Come on.
Okay.
I'm watching this.
All right. So now that we have
get him in the Discord. Sorry.
Nick is even in the Discord.
Yeah.
I mean, although Nick mostly comments in just the staff section, so nobody can see it but us. But he's on the Discord.
But
so,
it counts. He's still
And
there.
you watching, you should be in the Discord too, because our community is baller.
Yeah, they really are. And we have we have some amazingly creative people in our community too. Just some of the stuff that turns up over in the media section and just the conversations that happen. It makes me really happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a train wreck. But
yes, but you get more than 3 people together, and a train wreck is almost inevitable at some point.
Yeah, I will say this. I agree 100% with the Apollyon. All right, so moving on.
Oh man, flame war.
Moving on. Speaking of the Apollyon, you may get to see that person on this very channel at some point on Saturday afternoons. from 2 to 5:30 p.m. That's it.
What's
Teaser.
going on?
Okay.
What's going on there? Wait a second. Let's rewind the tape.
Okay.
You can't do that, Thomas. You can't just like dangle that in front of people and not explain.
Saturdays from 2 to 5:30 p.m. right before Cthulhu. Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. We are going to be playing that here remotely on webcam.
Well, yeah. On this very channel.
From the world.
Yes.
Do we know who else is going to be on that yet?
We do not know everyone who is going to be on it yet. We don't know. We pretty much know. And it's a cast of familiar faces for the most part.
With the exception of the Apollyon, because I don't know what he looks like.
Yes. He is very handsome. That is what he looks like. I don't want to say because we're not officially done yet. We're still talking. So, and we also don't know exactly when that's going to be. Especially thinking about if it were to happen, October 24th would be a great day for it to happen. That's really soon, and Pandemic Legacy Season 0 comes out on the 23rd. So, I might want to just spend all day playing that. But we'll see.
Might? What is this might thing?
Okay, so I do want to spend all day playing that, and then all day Sunday editing at least the first 2 episodes to get them out right away from launch.
Well, you got to take a break from the real pandemic to enjoy a pandemic and play Season 0
for the pandemic.
The pandemic is communism. Just throwing that out there.
It's during the Cold War, so.
I don't know enough to dispute it. I think he's right.
As a result, they're probably in a lot better position than we are.
It is 7:23, everybody. You have over 20 viewers. That means it's time.
We also started like 20 minutes late, so
we started early. As I was trying to figure out marketing for the first time in my life.
What's the over/under on Aaron disconnects today?
Well, he's already done.
It's already happened once, man. So it's an inevitability at this point.
What's the over/under? He goes 10 minutes on mute and doesn't know it. Wait, that's already also happened today.
Yeah, I really wish we do record like the hour of just crap talking before, because for at least I don't know, it could have been 45 for all I know. Just I was
easily,
like, I guess
20 minutes of Aaron being on mute and no one responding to his jokes.
Did you just think we were ignoring you or talking over you, or what did you think was happening?
I thought my Wi-Fi was weird, so I was also like, you know what? I'll just
they don't hear me.
He's probably busy. No, you look distracted at the moment, so I was like, he's probably doing something, I guess. What about you, Tiana? And then it was like, Thomas, and then right before the Thomas told me.
Well, Aaron got into a rant. You just saw him like.
To be fair, that's what I usually hear, at least when Warren goes on rants.
Yeah.
Which is every week.
My
Damn
gosh.
You, TikTok.
So, head on over to our Discord. Tell us all about it. Tell us, Patreon subscribers or patrons, do you want to have exclusive access to the first hour where we set up and talk bullshit? We might make that a Patreon thing.
Occasionally wander in and out of screen with drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I walked in with 3 drinks. Forgot my sitting pillow.
Actually, really cool. I would, if I could. Yeah, that's actually a really cool incentive.
All right, that sounds good.
They might.
We have to tell people.
I like that.
You can't just be like,
I don't want to.
I don't want to record the pre-show.
Like, yeah, I don't want someone to be like, nope, this isn't what I signed up for. I'm out.
Well, I mean, they don't have to access it.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. What did you expect us to do? We told you we just talk.
You want unadulterated access to Warren? It's like, no.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm signing up for Warren's OnlyFans. Mostly because it's footage of him in a VR headset, like doing stuff. But you know,
stuff. Sure. We'll roll.
You have to have the whole controllers in your hand, so you know.
You have to get really creative.
Senpai. Shit. I won't elaborate. The joke won't get a little blank.
You know what I like about this studio? There's no rails anywhere near here. All right, so it was a train reference, and there's anyway.
Sorry, I really liked just seeing you go. It was a train reference.
We are still 3 minutes ahead of schedule.
Our worst record was like 45 minutes of this.
How hard do you expect a train reference to land, though? That's why we got it.
With like 5 tons of flaming metal. That's how hard I expect it to land.
All right. Tamago Tora comes through with 500 bits to keep Remy from finding those cookies. I think those cookies are going to CandleKeep, and Remy is not. That's what I think is going to happen. And
because they're in Andraste's bag of holding.
500 bits to me. Thank you, Tamago Tora, and thank you for always being the first person to like my tweets. Yeah. Sometimes the only person. Let's be honest. All right.
He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. Exactly. I feel it. I also tweet something random and very specific, and no one gets it. But Tamago is like, I think I get you.
We appreciate you. All right. So with that, we're going to recap what happened 2 weeks ago, really. You boarded the ship, the Chimera, and headed south to head to CandleKeep, your first library trip. And on the way there, we really got a glimpse into sort of some productive ways of coping with things. So Remy and Uzo really took to little Remy and started teaching, and sharing stories and lessons about life. Remy did show him the ropes, literally by climbing up the ropes and doing stuff. Uzo took him on a flight. Little Remy on a flight around the ship. That couldn't have been very safe.
I did some puppeteering too, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, some puppets. Oh, there's
life
a lot
lessons
of
through puppets. Yeah.
And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we saw Andraste and Ruckus not really knowing. Really, it's kind of a self-destructive pattern of different sorts. Andraste kind of went back, faded back from the scene, kept to herself. Didn't really engage. Ruckus tried to fight people in an attempt to teach them how to survive. Luckily,
I tried to teach them, but they in turn taught me something. How to teach.
Clint did have to step in for both of you.
No, he didn't. I looked at the newsletter and went, no, that was Emma who grabbed Andraste. That's why Emma got the box of cookies.
Oh yes, that makes sense. I don't know what I do most of the time, so.
Fair.
Uzo. What does Uzo remember? What are the big takeaways from the journey south from Baldur's Gate?
He introduced little Remy, to the lessons he learned in the orphanage through the puppeteering that he had made back in Baldur's Gate, and he took him on a flight to bolster his courage and also his trust in Uncle Uzo, and to have a little fun scaring his father. And also, mostly what he knows or remembers is that we are on the edge of the cliffside, debating on how we want to enter the lands. But inside CandleKeep, we are going to look for information regarding Bahamut, as well as Apothoria, and anything that will help us on our journey into the Shimmering Gate, past it to Derelin. That is the goal that Uzo wants in journeying to Candlekeep. He is going to be adamant that little Remy stay behind once we reach Waterdeep and continue onwards. But for now, his main takeaway is enjoying his friends in the serene moments that we have and preparing himself to receive information, some which may be pleasant and some which may be a harsh reality for the journey onwards.
All right. Andraste.
Well, I learned that our own Slade Remington is not as unobservant as I thought him to be, and in some ways hoped he would be. He came and had a conversation with me, which, well, it didn't end as badly as it certainly could have. There was a fireball involved, but, well, it wasn't on the ship, so it's fine. And otherwise, I got a little bit of a wake-up call, being reminded by Emma that I have a very long time to sulk if I so see fit, and right now I need to deal with the problems that are immediately in front of me, and a broken heart is not important enough to deal with. So on we go.
Speaking about the problem right in front of you, Ruckus.
Well, first, Remy seems fine. Definitely fine. I think he's cool. I don't care. As for me, now that I have realized 3 things. My journey has ended. I have to find closure elsewhere, and it's in teaching people. After I learn how to teach people. And 3, we're going to a magical library. I think that's fucking amazing. But in the meantime, I will strengthen.
I'm glad you got this far in before you dropped an F-bomb.
I didn't open strong. No. And now I shall train some of our crew members that are willing, evidently, to be trained to help us in the future against our foes and not lose anybody. Because I'm not losing anybody, okay? No one's dying. I will train them, and then I train them.
All right.
Yeah.
You started basically a gym with Brandon, and you taught the Brandon the importance of leg day, which he's going to start doing.
I forgot about, yeah.
And then Ruckus learned the importance of leg day because he couldn't stand up when Andraste came to talk to him.
There's a very poignant question in chat that will be answered at some point tonight. Okay, don't look. And
I don't have it up. There's no way I can look. So.
I could lie.
Evening comes as you sort of are approaching the shore, basically the latitude of Candlekeep. The waters have gotten choppy around here, and Clint and Remy both seem to think that it's not safe to go to shore tonight, so everyone should rest and figure out how to head to shore in the morning. So they're going to take the ship off a couple of miles to get out of the surf and try and anchor down. So the ship goes out. If there's anything anyone wants to do tonight, without Remy, he's preoccupied, hanging out with his family in his cabin.
Okay. I did find familiar. I've got my spider. And I'm rested. Other than that, there's nothing else that I'd want to do.
Yeah, I'm I'm still generally keeping to myself, although not as badly as before. Now, staying at least mildly engaged.
So my new jazzercise class has not actually started yet. It's just kind of, I'm still kind of jet-lagged.
You have done a workout routine. Probably too long. You probably spent 2 hours working these guys. It should probably be, maybe not so much in one go. So you are tired for the evening. Your muscles ache. A good sleep will recuperate everything. But there, Ruckus, there is a knock at your door.
What the hell? Come in.
And the door opens up, and in the silhouetted is the broad shoulder, skinny legs of Brandon, as he steps slowly inside. Ruckus.
I do regret this.
Yeah.
Note, I am in my second strongest position, lying in a bed. Go on.
And you notice him too. He's just like really stiff-legged, like kind of moving in. And he kind of reaches behind him and pulls a sack and says, I notice you're not wearing armor. I happened to come by some while I was in Baldur's Gate, and I thought that it might be useful to you. So I would let you use it.
You're giving me a gift right now?
Yeah. Well, maybe you should see it before.
No. The thought alone makes me happy. Okay. All right.
No.
Give me your gift. Give me your gift, though. I'm still taking it. I'm just saying. The thought is great. I think it's like the first gift.
And so he hands you the sack and goes, it's useful in water, and it's like leather armor as well. So you're protected, most of you, anyway.
Okay. I guess I'll just worm into this right now without fully understanding the make of this garb you've tossed aside to me.
So you reach in and you pull out, and it just immediately, like light flickering off of your candles in the room, just hits your eyes. Like it is pearlescent. It is like a rainbow trout coming out of this bag, and it is, even here you can tell it is a skin tight leotard.
You just had to make sure that item got in here, didn't you?
You just see his face kind of like drop as he's opening it. You see almost a rage.
I mean,
and then you see, and then. No.
I mean, until you get your own armor. I mean,
I love it. I love that. Did I pop the mic?
You're good.
Okay, good. I love it then. Oh my god. This looks of a specific time, though. It really feels like it's of an era, but thank you. I appreciate it nonetheless. Oh my goodness, my jazzercise classes will be forever changed. And my combat. I guess my combat. Mainly my combat.
Yeah, so it does have some great properties. It allows you to breathe underwater, which is useful. It has
I won't die.
the bonuses of leather armor. And you inspire people underwater. You give them bonuses.
Okay, so I'm some
it's
some aquatic man, if you will.
Right. Yes.
Okay, good. Does it work with fish?
No. Well, allies. So I mean, if your allies are fish, then yeah.
We need a druid.
There's got to be a fish in some sort of bag of color. Tan, gray, silver, whatever.
We need a druid. Damn it.
Fish.
It is the Octopier's leotard of leadership.
So, I'm gonna have to send them a thank you note.
Well, I mean,
this is okay. Yeah. Well, thank you, crewmate. This is wonderful. I shall cry in my solace, but you will never see weakness from me. Thank you for this.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're doing for me as well as the crew. By the way, on land, don't wear it. It's odd to look at. I mean, when you're underwater, everything looks like a fish and kind of wobbly wobbly. But on land, it's like, yeah, it looks weird. You can see your package as well.
Okay, I know fashion. I get it. I knew the faux pas and what not to do. I know how to fashion my junk. Please leave my room. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to wear it on land at some point or another.
He needs a dance belt.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go rest. As he standing there for that long, he's sort of the 10 minutes he was standing there, he's like, oh, my legs. As he walks out of the room and shuts the door. And he goes away. And if you want, it's in D&D Beyond. Everyone can find it in D&D Beyond. It's the Octopier's Leotard of Leadership. Thank you, J Matthews 85, for the inspiration.
I'm trying to find the tweet.
I can't even.
Richard Gene Simmons.
No.
Again, join the Discord. So, apparently, so I put that out as a meme, the Leotard of Leadership, and somebody had separately, outside of us, emailed it to Spike, like, oh, have you seen this? So.
I really want to know what the path of that was. Like, how did it get away from us and to Spike? I really want to know how that happened.
Well, I did put it on the D&D memes Reddit.
Aha. Okay.
So, D&D memes Reddit.
That'll do it.
Gotta love Reddit.
Yeah.
That is it for the evening. If nobody has anything else to do, we will pick up in the morning after a long rest.
Yay, long rest.
All right,
Spells
and
the forehead, but that's it.
What are you putting in there?
Have you marked them down?
I erased him from last. This is like the marking of, I guess, shield and alter self. Yeah. Yes. Wait, I didn't even use it last time. 3 shields. Give me 3 shields, sir.
Cool.
All right. So you put 3 shields in there. Do you have 3 spell slots? Because I know you use shield once.
Yeah, I have enough
that come out of the. All right.
Actually,
you've had plenty of time. You have had plenty of time. You can fill it up with that, whatever you want. Speaking of filling it up, we have 500 bits from the Hefner to the players. Thank you, Hefner. And 500 bits to the DM.
Yeah, he did that.
Appreciate it. And welcome back, Barthorn. It's good to see you. Thank you for
the sub. Goodness. Haven't heard from Barthorn in a while.
Yes. All right. So evening passes the Warren, are you on mute?
Yes, I was. I'm sorry. As evening passes for the night, Uzo kind of looks over his things and just sort of reads over his lore and does just kind of reads with his animal companion friends and realizes that he has a teleportation parchment scroll-ish thing that he kind of has like this moment. He looks at it and he's like wondering if he's reading it right. So he puts it away and plans to show it to the group tomorrow.
I really hope you have written down where you got that from.
I have it. I don't remember where I got it.
It was
in the same. Yeah, it's like
it was probably one of those random deck draws because I know I have a ranger spells scroll that I can't use because it's a ranger spell that I'll sell eventually.
So I've got like a scroll of light, the Thorn Whip scroll, the teleportation parchment, and it's in the same vein with the purple bolt of silk. Wherever we were divvying that up.
Yes, that was the that was in the basement of the Platinum Mammon Island, the Isle of the Abbey.
Oh yeah! Oh my God, it's been a while.
Yes,
I still have that bolt of silk.
Yep.
Wow, that was back when we met Trace.
Man, I love how Janine was like a guest star for 3 sessions, and I thought that's all it would take. It was like 20 sessions before Trace went away.
You're such an optimist. I don't know why you keep doing that to yourself.
It felt like we kept egging you on too. Like we were like, let's keep Trace. What are you gonna do? Trace, we need you. We need you just to go to this bar right now. We need to hang out. We need you to hang out.
As if anything is that simple with us.
Yeah.
We're like, so tell us about yourself. Tell us your backstory. We want to learn everything.
We're very curious people, and I feel like after 2 years, that should be predictable.
So night passes. It passes well, but it's not rocky. It's a wavy, disconcerting evening. You do get a full rest, but it is there were waves out there. You wake up in the morning and you immediately as Aaron wakes up, and Andraste, you would hear this too. You do hear Ruckus.
I should put it in Zoom, but whatever.
So Andraste and Ruckus, you do hear shouts from the crew as morning comes, and they are coming out of your decks. You see people are battening the lashes, whatever that means. They are the ship is
battening the hatches means that you're closing down everything that could throw open and get water in.
What are you doing? You're curling your eyelashes? Get to work.
So they're battening the lashes. They're tying the ropes. They're doing things. The hatches. Everybody's got eye patches on now. They're ready to board a ship. So everybody is getting ready to take the ship closer to shore. But you can tell Remy is at the helm. Something you don't normally see. Andraste, you usually kind of run the wheel, or Clint does, but you see Remy is up there. Clint is with him and helping. The ship's going to be hard to move into shore. So, and Uzo, you're thrown out of bed.
What? Uzo,
land on your spider and it's dead. You'll have to cast Find Familiar.
No.
Yes.
Uzo meanders up to the deck and wonders. Just like, what the hell?
Is it?
Yeah. So you see sort of.
Is it like stormy conditions? Is it raining? Is the wind blowing hard?
It's windy. So it's windy here. You see clouds are kind of moving in. It doesn't look like a major storm, but it definitely looks like it's something that will occupy Remy while you guys go to the library.
Excellent.
So you guys get up there, and Remy is like, I can't go to the library with you. We can get the ship close, but I got to be up here to make sure that it doesn't doesn't go under.
We would hate to be stranded here with another ship being damaged under us. I understand.
Well, it's probably good business that we are not here for any adventurous engagement, and I don't expect our trek to take that long, especially now that I found this. And Uzo kind of pulls out the parchment and scroll and he unfurls it in front of everybody. He goes, I believe this to be a teleportation scroll, one that I believe I can recreate. One time use though.
Well, then why don't we save it for a more strenuous moment when we might actually need to? I mean, we can see where we're going. I can cast Water Walk in 10 minutes without
so
using
my concern with that is the time it takes us to walk and then go there, then walk inland. But also, we have the time now. This is going to take some time to draw out. If we need to do this under duress, I'm not sure I could perform it.
Inland, the keep is right there, and I'm going to point at the top of the cliff.
Yeah.
I can see it from here.
It's literally right there, man.
As it's over my shoulder.
By the time you woke up and got up there, Remy had taken the ship in about a mile or so north of the library, and he is off of the shore. Maybe 100 meters or so 300 feet. So something where you could take a dinghy over. It would be rough, but you could get there, or you could walk, or you could water walk.
I mean, how long of a walk / flight is it?
So all in all, probably a couple of hours.
I am not very keen to use the limited spell abilities that I have. This would get us there now and set us on our way back.
Well, I'm not very keen to use up the one-time use only parchment that you have going on there. I'm not that seems like something that's incredibly valuable.
Uzo, give me an intelligence check.
Oh no.
All right.
Actually, if everybody wants to do that, feel free.
I'm curious because I'm actually smart.
It's a 9. Z9.
Yeah, that's about right.
And Ruckus got the 10.
I cannot believe Ruckus is the book smartest of us.
You will be surprised by this answer, actually, though.
I'm very surprised.
What's up?
Oh no, nothing. That scroll is super not valuable at all.
It's just paper, Andraste.
Yeah,
it will burn up once we use it.
In terms of pre-planning, I have a suggestion. You've seen me, so Uzo, you've seen me give my life for anyone before, right? Just kind of on a whim.
Yes, Ruckus.
I think all three of us, if it comes to it, can defend you while you need to manifest whatever you need to manifest in order to teleport us away. I think
for 10 rounds.
Using it now is a hindrance.
Okay. Very fair.
If we corner you, there's a way.
Once we are inside initiative, it is too late. But okay.
Inside what? What are you talking about?
But think about this. You can what was that?
Once we are engaged in combat, it is too late.
Oh.
Well, and I mean, we tend to be a lot more cautious these days, and generally, if something is really a big problem, we tend to see it before it sees us. Usually these days.
Crawling to that thing with not a way out, other than jumping from that height, Oh wait, are we going up or down in it?
Up.
Then yeah, jumping from that height. I'm the only one that'll survive. So you can take your chances, but I'm saying a way out seems fun.
Okay. Puts it back in and he pats it. He feels a little wriggle and excuse me, Mr. Spider. Fine. We will put it away for later. Let us take the long road. Remy, please keep the ship afloat until we return.
You also notice in there you see Bagal like wrapping around the spider a little bit. The spider's like
trying to kill it.
Wait, stop. Cut it out. Bagal.
And he like kind of moves to the other side.
Yes, good. Kill it. Kill it.
Gentlemen,
Right.
Wait, can't you mention door?
That's not
just me and what I can carry, but only 500 feet. This scroll will take me to wherever I can see.
which is incredibly useful, and I think we should save it for another time.
Can you see through that wall
Hit.
at the top of that thing?
No, but are you suggesting we go inside without making ourselves known at the front gate? I don't advise that because this place looks very magical. They might be onto us instantly. I say we make we are not the bad guys here. We are here. We are information seekers. May they greet us as friends. We do not come in any harm, and they can cast an orb of truth around us. We only come to find information that will benefit all.
Yes. We only look evil when out context. But in context, we are very heroic. We do exactly the heroic thing.
Well, we're not coming with a sneaky halfling, so we look a lot more bolsterous and presentable. Right, Captain? No offense. Right. Okay, good. So, however you want to approach this, I am out of ideas. I guess
I'm going to step over there, and I'm going to cast this spell as a ritual so that I'm not using any of my resources. So hang tight for about 10 minutes, and we'll be water walking in no time.
Okay.
We definitely won't sit here awkwardly for 10 minutes.
Uzo just stares blankly at Ruckus.
I expect nothing less.
Ruckus notices it, but then he just kind of stares away as you're staring right into his temple. And we're like a foot, barely.
And I'll like sit down in the corner of the deck and start casting Water Walk as a ritual.
Uzo puts his hand on Ruckus's shoulder and kind of does a gag to himself where he starts to say, "Hello, hello, hello, hello," as if there's an echo in Ruckus's empty mind. There is nothing in there at all. Nothing.
Oh, very funny. And then I kind of want to inner monologue as like, I thought he was going to kill me.
And then Uzo is still kind of lightly touching him, and he kind of jokes back, "Not yet, my friend."
Shit! He can do that! I forgot!
Did you do that?
Awaken mind, yes.
Nice.
Wait, what type of spell is it though? I can't remember.
It's an innate ability. Just mental. Great old one.
That's good.
Anyway,
I haven't been paying attention. I thought it was
I'll like settle into casting the ritual, but tell them do not go further than 30 feet away from me. I need you close by while I'm casting this.
All right. So you spend 10 minutes drawing out the symbols that are required, and 10 minutes later, you all have Water Walk cast on you.
All right.
And
That's the last one.
how do we know that this works?
I'll just look at him and without just like very straight faced and without breaking eye contact, just step off the side of the boat.
As she steps off the side, I was going to throw you overboard. And he looks at Ruckus as a test dummy. But
No. She has a point.
should we follow her?
Hell yeah! And I want to like back.
All right. So Andraste goes over. Ruckus goes over. Make me dexterity saving throws, please.
Uzo looks over the bow.
Deck of the ship is 20 feet up. So
Okay.
I want to backflip like Mario. When he does
actually,
the
it's way more than 20 feet up. It's up there.
Okay.
Now you say.
All right.
Oh, I didn't do it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. A saving throw. Yeah.
Was
Okay.
it a saving? I'm sorry. Was it a saving throw? I may have.
Ruckus.
13.
All right. So
Uzo goes down the ladder over about 15 feet away.
Andraste, you are totally ready and dive in. and Ruckus throws himself overboard like ass over tea kettle. And Ruckus, you take 9 points of damage on your way down as you boom into the water with your boxer shorts.
Wonderful.
I didn't put the thing on. It's still on the bag of my hip, though, right?
Uzo climbs down the ladder and he looks at Andraste. I did not throw him. He jumped.
No, I'm perfectly aware, and I'm just like standing on the water, like moving with the waves, just watching.
And Juan, your mic is crackling a little bit.
Huh?
Your mic is crackling a little bit.
Which of us?
Me? Check,
Warren.
me. What? Let me know when it's
Actually,
not.
it sounds good. It's not. Maybe it's Aaron.
No, Warren has been Warren's mic has been clipping now and again for a while.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How about me now? Because I unmuted and then Thomas said that, and then I was like, oh.
No, you sound great. Okay, so so we're gonna move on. So you guys are all on the water. The interesting thing about you, Ruckus, is that when you hit, you hit like a belly flop. It felt like, because you have water walk on it, felt like you just hit concrete.
Yeah.
Just
it's like hitting a solid surface.
Yeah.
I thought it was only my feet, like Jesus or something.
Yeah, no, Andraste totally did like a superhero landing and then stood up.
Yeah.
Like Jesus or Naruto.
Uzo gently lowers himself to the ground and walks over to the group. Hello.
All right.
Well, we have an hour. Let's get going.
So yeah, so it takes about just 30 minutes of walking. I mean, and you're like walking sort of up and down the waves, and they start crashing into the cliffs. And there is a small area where you could put a dinghy onto a beach. So there's a small beach, but then on either side there are cliff faces, and you see, as you get to the shore, you see the boat has kind of turned around and it's moving out a little bit further to get away from the reef.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll note that, but not be worried, because I have sending, so I can call them back from literally across Terrell if I have to.
All right. So then you make your way.
Just remarks is, if I were going to start a religion, this would be the kind of thing that I would claim as a miracle.
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
you're not far off. It is the power of my goddess who gives me the ability to do this. So here we are.
No gods. I would claim it that I did it myself.
No gods, no gods, no kings. Sure, let's roll with that.
All right. So there is a small path that leads inland, roughly maybe a quarter mile as it goes in, and then you reach a cobblestone road. So it is a well-maintained road heading north and south, and there is a sign here at this sort of juncture. So you think that, this is typically a place where people might beach a small craft. To the right, it says CandleKeep, and this is Way of the Lion road, sort of. And then north, it says Baldur's Gate.
All right. Shall we follow the Way of the Lion? Sounds adventurous.
Roar.
Sure. Let's go. Uzo just kind of does a nature or perception for potential animals or tracks of other travelers, hostile or otherwise.
Give me a survival check.
Damn.
At 20.
That 20 is a Nord Games card. You know what? I think they're renaming these. So I don't think this is going to be called the Luck Deck anymore.
The Fortune Deck or something like that?
Yeah. Fates and Fortune.
Aha.
Is the new printing.
That's cool.
plus 1d12 after making a saving throw.
Wish we'd had that a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
what do I see?
You see that the road has been traveled. It's you really can't see anything on the road itself. It is clear of dust and dirt and anything like that. Off to the sides, you do see that there are some you see wagon tracks that kind of head I'm sorry. You see you don't see wagon tracks, you see horse tracks heading off into the plains. It's grassland plains. There are some trees about, but you definitely see at this juncture from where you came heading east through sort of, some bushes and things. You see horse hooves have been through.
Does it look like it veered quickly and abruptly? It veered off of the main path.
Yeah, so right? with a nat 20, you see that somebody attempted to hide the tracks, but you saw enough to know that there was at least one horse that went through
here. Detect magic within 30 feet, anything glinting or trail?
Nothing things outside of you guys, and you get a glow out of a bag on Ruckus that you haven't seen before.
That boy is loaded with bags.
Yeah.
So I share that information with the group and I say that there is something veering off of the path here that wishes to remain private, and it does not give me good vibes. And I show them the track. Luckily, there is no magic within what I can see, except this particular pouch, Ruckus, that I've not seen glow before. What is in here? And he kind of tugs at the bag.
That's weird. It's just a normal armor, just the normal everyday Octopia armor.
No, the Octopia armor is there, and he points to a different spot on his body. This is a new bag. What is that?
Like wriggling as the armor Octopia is wriggling on my left hip. Oh, that's my right hip. Yeah, okay. So it was a gift. It was a personal gift I shall wear. I feel like it's going to ruin our element of surprise if I open it currently, but I guess a peek wouldn't hurt. Now, here is a peek, and I'm just going to open the bag a little bit and close it like a second later. Okay.
Why does it glow like that? What is the colors shimmering?
I have clearly answered all your questions. Now we may move forward.
No, you really, really haven't. But if it's something that you want to keep secret, I'm not going to pry.
That is whatever. Just as long as it doesn't kill us. But whatever is in this direction, it is not. We are not at full strength. I would not go investigating, but I would suggest that we keep our wits about us and stay on guard, because clearly someone wants to remain unseen in that direction.
Yes, and if someone is being chased and wants to hide their tracks, then us following them would blunder whoever's chasing them onto their tracks. And if it has nothing to do with us, then if it has nothing to do with us and no one's hurt, let's put it that way, we can leave them to their own devices.
I will make note of this point in case we get to CandleKeep and others are talking about something going missing or some, I will just note this point and remember it on our journey back.
That's a good idea. Did you see where the tracks were coming from?
It seems like they were on the road and then just veered off at this point. Is that accurate, Tim?
That is accurate.
Does it look like they're going away from CandleKeep or like north south?
with a nat 20, they were heading north before turning east.
Okay.
So they were going to Candlekeep.
From Candlekeep.
They were going from CandleKeep to Baldur's Gate.
Oh, we're in between the two.
Correct.
Okay.
Or at least in the direction of Baldur's Gate along this road.
Yeah, they were going north.
Well, I reckon that if it's in our path, we'll find it, and if it's not, we have other business.
I'm okay
All
with
right.
that. Let's
So
onward
you
we go.
guys.
I don't want to be that guy.
Are you going to be that guy? What are you that guy in?
But should I throw out an animal to at least sense the track a little, go ahead, scout a little ahead? You know, hopefully if we luck out, we'll get a small one, you know?
You are finally thinking, Rakis.
I have been thinking. If we teleported in the middle of an enemy base, okay, forget it. Yes.
They're not enemies. It's a library.
They're all enemies.
No, they're not.
Just pull one out, please, Rakis.
All right, fine.
Which bag?
I left one on the ship, on the other ship, but I unchecked it on D&D. I left the gray bag with the other dude, and I have the tan bag.
These are our old friends, right? Our original friends.
No, these are These are the next. These are the DLC friends. These are the These are the season 2 friends. These are new friends. So we got ape.
I knew it.
So yes, you reach out, you throw, and onto the that path, just this ape appears. And
Should I name him?
Uzo waves.
Looks at you, and you see him do like this with his hands. Looks at you.
Well, that's not terrifying at all.
I love him. Should I name him Bubbles or Caesar?
Do you assume a lot about this ape? I don't give it a name. Just tell it to stay multiple paces ahead of us. Don't engage with anything. Just let us know. Come back and let you know, or let us know if something comes awry.
And act like normal, like you belong on this island and around that library, as if you are a normal occurrence on this island. An ape. I don't think you are.
Please, baboon ape, continue onwards and come back to us if you encounter any friction or obstacle, whether it's be a person or a road obstruction or a trap.
All right, so you were going to send it along, following the hard to see footprints.
It's going ahead. Yeah.
No, we're sending it to Candlekeep.
Aaron, Ruckus, where did you send it?
We saw the footsteps, or we saw those footprints in the sand. They may have trailed off, but I thought we were sending that down.
That's what I thought too. Like maybe that wasn't what you intended, Warren, but that was what all the rest of us got from that. Was find out what's down there.
I would be pointing down towards Candlekeep.
So Uzo is pointing that way, and this ape walks off like 20 paces in another direction, like kind of crashing through some bushes and making a bit of noise, but walking. And looking.
Towards Candlekeep. We want to keep the ape ahead of us.
Why? I thought that the intention was to find out what was going on over there.
No, and draw it out or keep it private. Like we want to make sure the ape ahead of us will trigger any sort of traps or let us know a warning sign of what lay ahead. We don't want it to go investigate.
Okay, ape, come back, ape, Caesar, and/or Bubbles, and/or to be named, come back. And I do want to bring him back.
Turns around and comes back.
You should call it. You should call it a librarian, since we're right outside one of the greatest libraries ever to exist.
Do we?
Wait, the name should be librarian, or we should name it after a significant librarian, which brings up my next question. Where is there a significant librarian in history?
Dewey.
Just name it librarian.
Okay. Listen. Okay, listen. I think we should still have one animal at least. Listen, if ape, librarian, Coco, whatever. There's 4 names for this thing right now. We'll figure it out when Bo's back. Now, Remy, Captain Remy.
I'm sure.
How about I throw
all this?
You know what? I'm just doing it. I'm not even making a team call. I'm sorry. 4. We get Axebeak. Thank God. Flying.
You throw your hand out, and nothing comes out of the bag. And you have used your. That's one use.
Oh my God. Wait, can I tell that was Axebeak as I threw out, or that?
Yes,
as I threw
you
out.
realize that should have been Axebeak.
Axebeak.
Axebeak! Damn it! Where have you gone? Are you eternally dead, Axebeak?
Ruckus,
Sorry,
please.
stick to it. Okay.
We don't need any more. Just send the baboon forward. Whatever you call it.
I'm sorry. None of us are going to question the fact that an animal I pulled out of a magical bag that should be immortal didn't be immortal.
Well,
No, I am not going to take the time to analyze that right now. We are standing still. We should be walking.
It didn't die.
Oh, it was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. It died.
So-
It died. It died, but it did not disappear.
Yeah. Its corpse was there. That's new. Yeah, I do. I actually do.
I'm trying to think if Flynn actually told you.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
There was not a lot of conversation happening because we were all staring at that sphere and being very, a little bit afraid of it, to be perfectly honest. Right.
It was the only time using the bag of tricks animals as fodder that it bit us back. It's the only time.
I mean, in as many episodes as we've done, that's pretty good. Andres is just going to start walking towards CandleKeep. She's had enough of this conversation and just wants to go into CandleKeep and finish this.
All right, we'll use Ape to follow the footsteps later, but man, those are going to be on the back of my freaking mind.
All right, so you guys, so about
Ape
15
is leading us, right, Aaron?
Yeah, to the library, right now?
Yes,
So
Ape
to
is
the library.
leading us by
Yeah.
a couple of paces, more
Yeah.
than a couple. Okay.
So I'm gonna say it actually about 30 minutes goes past you walking south. Before the library comes into view in the distance, and it takes you another half hour of walking until you get close enough where it starts to be obviously very significant. It is built into this cliffside. It is heavily fortified. This area becomes very mountainous around here. And Uso, do you have your detect magic up all the time, or is it just kind of?
It can kind of like recall it. Like if I squint, I like sort of the same thing. It's like, is that a hint of magic I see?
Because it's at will, right?
It's at will. Yeah, I'd need
like
to activate it.
It's like your
But
bifocals.
Yeah, but if I see like floating candles and like emanations, I'm probably gonna turn it on.
Gotcha. Okay. So as you get close, you start to hear an argument up ahead, and you round sort of the last corner, and these massive gates and a stone wall surrounding the citadel that is inside. So these are the outer walls, and you walking closer, you look ahead and you see in front of those two doors, there are 2 guards stationed on either side of a 8-foot table. At this table, there are 5 purple robed figures. And you get closer and you hear the center figure who's looking over sort of a scroll or a parchment. It's like, yes. This will do. Fine. Yes, but you need a tome for entry. And there is in front of it a tiny humanoid. You just see in sort of a cloak. You see tiptoes, like, so the cloak lifts off the ground a little bit. You see shoes. You see this entity is on its tiptoes, and it's like, it's a scam. This is a whole fucking scam. I bought the book in Baldur's Gate. I was guaranteed it would make it here, and those people stole it from me. Either you are in on it and you know it, or you're stupid. And the 5 figures are very calm. The first one is like, you know the rules. The rules. You have part of it. You have given us a seal from a very famous wizard. However,
Really quick
yes.
question. Are the 5 figures, do they look like they're in uniform that would associate them with CandleKeep?
Yes. Yes. But you do not have a tome to add to the collection. Come back when you do. And with that, what turns around, and you see the face of a gnome, and he's in a traveling cloak. You can see that he's got component pouches, and you see a dagger on one side, and he's like, screw your rules. And screw you, and he walks like strides away up to you, almost up to you, and he turns around and just goes, and screw you, and Andraste, you see the telltale sign of a little piece of fire, and then it just disappears in a little bit of a little dust.
I wanted to.
You know that was a fireball,
and that was counterspell that was used.
It was not counterspell. You know that there is some sort of magical ward, and Uzo, you pop up your detect magic, or you don't.
No. So when he's walking towards us, before he does that, Uzo would definitely scan him for magic. So I would want to see what's going on there, but I would have tried to pick his brain, but I guess I'm gonna let the fireball thing sort of play out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so he was muttering to himself, and just like angry. You see that he's got a magical tome on the side of his belt. Nothing else you see a ring. He has a magical ring on, but then he's just muttering to himself, and you don't quite get the chance to do your awakened mind before he's just like, God damn, and he launches the fireball.
Yeah, no, I was going to vocalize, excuse me, sir, but after he throws it, does it look like it was warded, or does it look like he dissolved it himself?
It is warded.
So he intended for that to land. Okay.
Not someone I particularly want to deal with.
Yeah, so I guess Uzo would just like clear a path and watch him sort of go by.
Yeah, I would definitely like step off of the path and be like, nope.
And it's just this tiny little thing. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go get those fucking guys.
Have fun.
Well, I hope we have better luck than that, good sir. Shall we? Where is the ape now?
We could totally take him.
And he sees. Oh yeah. So he's walking. And he sees the ape. Like, it's not until he's past you does this little gnome stop and kind of turn around and look at you guys and look at the ape, who's just kind of standing there. And he's like, oh God, and he keeps walking.
Well, I wonder who that frightful person was.
Well,
not consider us a threat.
I'm
well,
all
hopefully,
I'm all right with not being considered a threat by someone who throws fireball around and without consideration of where it'll land.
Let's see how these gods deal with our new baboon friend, even though he is very friendly, aren't you?
Ape.
He's an ape, Uzo, not a baboon.
Monkey, baboon, ape. Do you mind?
Don't call him a monkey. He'll probably tear your ears off.
And I look at him. I was like, do you care at all? What I
Because you can speak with animals. He just goes, I'm used to it.
Oh, the
See?
poor thing.
It's okay. It is life. Please join us, escort us. We might ask you to wait outside, but if they don't allow you in, which I imagine they won't, we will come back for you.
Yeah.
So we
And
walk
as you
up to
guys
the
are
front.
and Uzo, in your mind, you hear, where's Axbeak?
And Uzo just kind of pauses and hesitates and then turns back around and walks towards the sorcerers.
Huh. Yeah, so we'll walk
Can
up
you
to the
bump-
table inhabited by the 5 purple robed folk.
Okay.
Can Uzo bump into Ruckus just for a moment and still have that awakened mind thing, just so I can say in my mind the exact same thing the ape said? Where's Axbeak?
Aw.
And Uzo replies in his mind. He kind of grips Ruckus's forearm really tight. He's like, "Not now. The animals in the bag are aware of each other missing. Not now, Ruckus. Not now."
Get out of my head, dude! Let's go. Come on. God.
Yeah, I'll walk up to the table. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the CandleKeep library. What is your business here?
We come to learn about gods, and we hear that this library is the grandest library in all of the realms, worthy of containing knowledge that we seek. We have come only to learn and maybe even help contribute.
Yes. So entrance to the library requires recommendation from a great sage. Who has given you a recommendation?
Did we know that? I feel like we hadn't heard that.
I feel like this is also new, and I love it.
I don't think that you have heard that. You heard that it required a book that they don't have.
Yeah.
And Uzo turns and looks to Andraste and says, "Would your Emerald Enclave matroness be willing to vouch for us?"
Lady Jareth? Possibly. Probably. But
If you
we
send
don't.
to her.
Well, we don't have a like scroll or anything like that from her. I don't know what sort of recommendation you need.
They only said a sage recommendation. That might be
Well,
sufficient.
That is just but one part. The further entry into the inner library is a book of great value that we do not have. Well, a book of great value. If you only wish to get into the Court of Clouds, that is not yet into the library, but it is a place to stay. There is an inn, there are rooms, there is a tavern. That just requires a book that we don't have.
Well, we are here to study and to learn. So, how do you accept recommendations?
To access the full library, someone must vouch for you, and ideally indicate what you are looking to learn.
I say that potentially we share with them a book that we have to gain entry while we wait for word from Lady Jareth, if that is at all possible?
Well,
I don't.
We have a book like that.
Well,
What-
actually,
Well,
stop right there. we do have a book of great value. I have a one of a kind book from the bard Squeal Shadowsplat, who is a phenomenon in Waterdeep, has taken the city by storm, and this is a tome of his original songs and poems.
May I see it?
And I'll reach into my bag of holding and pull it out because Squeal made a copy of that for me when we were in Waterdeep, and pass it over.
of particular note, these poems and songs come from a goblin, no less.
A goblin bard.
That might
The-
increase its value.
The
And he
rarest
kind of
type of goblin.
he looks at
And/or
and the sorry, Ruckus.
Uh-oh.
You were
The
saying
rarest
something.
type of goblin and/or bard. Done with joke. Or bit.
Uzo looks over to Ruckus and he goes, "Don't help, please." Shh."
Just
Really feel like I'm selling it.
He looks over the book, flips through a number of pages, and you see him sort of hand it over to the woman next to him. And at this point, you were so focused on the one gentleman who was dominating. You now see that there are a number of individuals of different genders and races. So you do see an elf, a male, who is, again, same purple robes, but you notice the one in the middle has gold trim, sort of separating him from the others. And you see a female dwarf there as
Detect
well.
magic on all of them.
They're all glowing.
they're all like obviously super magical, man.
Yeah.
And also, as soon as you kind of do that, you are overwhelmed with the permeation of this magic that is all around you. That is abjuration warding magic. It is absolutely protective magic. Every inch of this place.
I put my hand on Ruckus's shoulder in awakened mind. I say, "No hostile gestures. Not even anything that remotely could trigger a magical reaction, because this place is rigged with protection wards and sigils and stuff."
The whole place is warded. It might blow.
So in my mind, I say, "You know what happens when I have Arma of Agathis and people touch me, right? Think of that on a city scale. Don't do anything stupid here."
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to kill us all this time. If anyone's going to die,
Shh,
it's only going to
yeah.
be me, and I'll come back.
You say that in your head, right? You say that.
Yeah, in my head.
Okay, thank you.
The male elf to
Can I not just in real life?
middle man's right, his right, runs a spell over the top, and you kind of get like this weird transmission between the two of you. Like you see the letters and the words kind of come off of it and then register and then come back. And he closes the book and says, "It is unknown in the library." And he looks at it and he passes it over to the dwarf next to him, who peruses the contents. And you see this sort of like, I wonder who the Foxy Irregulars are.
Just like sideways glance at the other two.
Yeah, apparently they are quite the heroes, according to this goblin.
They're incredible and magnificent. Just magnificent.
Only one of them is magnificent.
All right,
The rest-
both of you.
The rest are average.
Both of you stop helping.
Don't undermine the price of the book, buddy.
This tome not only will get you access to the Court of Air, but to the library should you also be able to provide a recommendation.
Would the word of Lady Jareth of the Emerald Enclave in Waterdeep, is she sufficient enough of a sage?
And you see the person on the far left, your right, looking over. Doesn't say anything, just nods.
All right.
Yes, that would do. In the meantime, if you are providing this book to us, you have access to the Court of Air.
And do we return to you when we have said recommendation to gain access to the library?
There is a small office on the inside, next to the tavern. You can that person know.
I have a question. I imagine there are scholars and professionals and artificers inside. Am I to believe that the knowledge kept here should remain here, not in taking out a parchment, but can I transcribe the things that I read, or am I to commit them to memory?
Once you have access, yes, you can most certainly copy, transcribe what you find inside. In fact, there are a number of scholars that are here, that are staying, who, depending on how long it will take, you could ask them to research for you for a small fee.
Oh, we could kill a few birds with one stone and come back with all the wealth in the world. That is an endeavor worth my last sapphire.
Once you have gained entry, you will have 30 days to complete your studies.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will avail ourselves of the resources within the Court of Air. Did I remember that right?
Yes, the Court of Air. Now, if you would not mind, and he flips over a large tome and flips to a bookmarked page, and you see it is a series of names. Now, may I have your names?
You may not have you may not have my name, but you may call me Andraste Nialo.
So, are there any special characters? He sort of writes it out.
The family name is spelled N-A-I with 2 dots over it, L-O.
See him dotted. And you, sir? He looks to you.
I am Muzo of Waterdeep. And he looks at the guy, write it down, and he's like, no, that's not how you spell it. And Uzo motions like an X. That is how you spell the name.
No, Uzo.
No?
Your name is spelled U-Z-O. You've been making the mark of the X, but that's not how you spell it.
Uzo looks over the guy's shoulder and commits the spelling to memory.
Uzo. U-Z-O. Waterdeep.
There's going to be Uzo graffiti all over CandleKeep now.
Oh God, we're gonna get kicked out, and then having that wonderful book out of our hands is gonna be a waste.
You are cleaning it up with that freaking geyser bag of water thing you have.
What?
You still have the gourd of endless water or something like that.
Yes,
just use it as geyser
of endless water. But what are you talking about?
You're gonna clean up the mess when you make your graffiti. What? We were talking. This is a meta thing, isn't it? Nothing. Forget it. I'm just being crazy again.
Tell the man your name, please.
Yeah, and who's that one in the boxer shorts?
How dare I didn't put on my leotard today. Fuck.
He's like that all the time. We just look past it. We completely forgot he is not presentable.
And what is in the bag that is shaking?
Wait, is the leotard bag also shaking, or that one's just glowing?
No. Do you have your actor's armor?
I do, yeah.
You're just like festooned with bags all over your belt.
Pretty much.
My bag doesn't shake. Your armor is just so unkempt and controllable.
I feed my bag coffee every morning. You know, it is what it is. Or grog, whatever works. And I am Ruckus Quinn with two N's. Q-I-N-N.
Write it down.
It's a founding name. I swear to God if you get it wrong. I mean, thank you.
I knew a Quinn once.
Did you know?
Sure.
Wait.
I did. Wonderful man.
From where?
What was his first name?
From when?
Oh, God. Aaron, what was
Who
your
are you?
dad's first name?
Where am I?
Russell? No, it wasn't.
Lucian.
Lucian. Huh. Lucian Quinn.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that was my father's name. How did you know?
Ruckus.
What do you mean? His whole family was unfortunately killed.
Not all of them.
Oh. And he shuts the door and he's like, yes, your father was quite the scholar. He found things in this library that no one else could. He sold them, but you have to make coin somehow. He made copies and sold the copies.
Yeah.
Which is allowed. I miss him.
This is where he found the map.
And then the rest is history.
So they say.
Thank you for telling me this. Uzo? I'm just going to put my hand on his shoulder. You don't have Awaken Mind right here.
No, I didn't cast it on you. I'm
just thinking heavily as I grab your shoulder.
And then I look and I'm like, oh, okay. And I say, I cast it and I go, this man knew your father. You should probably ask him questions. Also, as a perceptive magic user, he can probably tell that we are talking right now. And then on the outside, we're just like
staring at each other,
obviously talking to each
other's eyes.
And you see them like kind of exchange glances, like,
Yep.
I do not remember him having a son named Ruckus. This is an interesting name.
It's because most of the queens have passed, and another one has been born. It doesn't make sense scientifically, but metaphorically and emotionally, it does.
Ruckus, tell this man who you are. Give him your birth name.
Scratch out Ruckus. Write Malcolm Queen in this book. Right below my father if you can. Erase the person below my father if you need.
And so he flips the book back open, crosses it out, and types and writes in Malcolm in a very well readable script. And then he flips this tome over page. You have been here before. What? And he goes down the page, flips it around, and there you see Lucian Quinn with child Malcolm.
Oh, I just got chills.
Look at that, Rakis.
What did he take from here? Did he or copy from this library? Hopefully.
What was he
Well,
studying
maybe
as a child here?
when
It
you
was the
walk
map.
its halls, maybe when you walk its halls again, you might start to remember things that were hidden in the recesses of your mind. A library,
Okay,
given your traumatic past, is probably something you tend to forget about.
Yeah, didn't even think about it. Oh my god. Okay. Then thank you, front entry librarian, for your great assistance. What do I call them?
Friend,
Gustav.
and he looks to the guy. What is your Gustav?
My
Nice
name
to
is
meet you,
Gustav.
Gustav.
Gustav. Okay, cool.
Gustav
That's pretty
Thank you
Handlebar.
for your generosity.
Gustav Handelbar? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really need those
pretty
cards, those
badass.
name cards. Gustav Handlebar. You know what? I might as well just.
Right.
Yes.
Do you remember who Lucian had recommend him? What sage sent him here?
That I do not remember.
Fair enough. I'm sure it's been quite a while.
Yes. And you look back and it's, like this book, the dates on the top, not a lot of people come here. So the pages don't fill up very fast. And you see that, the page that they are on, it's a thick book, but the page of names is 20 years, 20 years ago.
Wow. You were very young when you were here, Rakus.
Yeah, explains why I don't remember a bit of it. Oh my goodness.
Right.
We
Well,
have to walk through these halls. Yeah.
Now that we have gained entry here, would I be able to pass through at a later date, or would every entry require admission?
For once you have full access, you have 30 days. It is possible to get re-entry with another entry fee and another recommendation.
Since
You
they
have-
already do. Oh.
We'll give you a week if you need it in the Court of Air before hopefully you can get that recommendation.
certainly.
We will send for it ASAP.
Thank you very much. And I'll reach over and put a hand on Ruckus's shoulder. Shall we? Well, up.
And the guards kind of move over and they, as the big doors open up. And behind it is a courtyard, and you see a few people milling about.
Right. Well then,
Let's mill about.
let's go find that tavern, and I will do a sending to Lady Jareth.
While you do the sending, I will try to find someone to purchase their scholarly abilities from.
Yes.
All right, so
having other people to help us do copying and researching would be incredibly valuable.
as you walk into the courtyard and the doors shut behind you, we are going to take a break. I am going to type in nightbot.tv, log in, because we're going to give away some dice. Thank you guys for watching us. I need to do this.
Hashtag full bladder. Just kidding.
Yeah. Hashtag sitting on the floor. Hashtag chaos, everyone. For a chance to win these Arcana, orange Libris Arcana dice plus random one, because that's how they do it.
Yep.
We are going to go and use the restroom, and we will be back momentarily. We'll roll that giveaway as soon as we are almost back.
Hashtag chaos.
Hashtag chaos.
Yeah, only hashtag Only hashtag chaos.
All right.
Yeah.
Right before we go, Duke Fleeg with 500 bits. Thank you, Tiana.
Thank you, sir.
What?
And for what? I don't know. Maybe it was the book. Maybe it was something else.
Cool.
Maybe it was the hatches. Maybe it was knowing about battening the hatches.
Entirely possible.
On that bombshell, we'll be right back. 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are back. Thank you for the raid, milady Saito. That is awesome. We appreciate it. Congratulations to Squeal the Bard, who just won the giveaway for these Libris Arcana orange dice.
Congrats.
And we might have been giving away a different set, except I forgot them at home. So this time. We have more to come.
Yeah, probably the lollipop dice, like what I have, that I love playing Call of Cthulhu with because the juxtaposition of tone is hilarious to me.
Lollipop.
All right. So up until now, the trio of Andraste, Uzo, and Ruckus have come on shore, headed to Candlekeep. They discovered some tracks heading off into the plains, woods / underbrush area. They ignored it, headed south. They ran into a gnome who was denied entry because somebody stole his book. And he tried to cast Fireball, but it was blocked by the protective magic. And then Andraste presented a book of poems and lyrics by one Squeal the Bard, in character, the character of the person that is Squeal the Bard, in the chat.
1 + 2 + 3 + 1.
Yeah. Who has created a dice box / tablet holder that we were going to give away when we reach 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So much awesome community going on, so we really appreciate it. Every once in a while, I click on Squeal the Bard, who is updating his character to maintain level parity. I will turn it on in the D&D Beyond overlay, so sometimes you get to see what Squeal's up to.
I imagine all sorts of hijinks back in Waterdeep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping there's like a constantly like a Squeal the Bard and Alacrity, and they're all way past our levels.
When I was
Alacrity
on AOL email chat days, like the Fed that I was in, the guild that I was in, was like handing out experience to bards for writing actual like poetry, but it was like not in any way comparable to the amount that you would get for fighting. And I was like, man, you got to level 60 just on like literature stuff. Like this is hardcore. Like, I'd imagine Squeal isn't doing a lot of fighting to keep on level with us. I'd imagine he's just like pumping out the tomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just bloodshed when we get back, but like heroic bloodshed.
All right. So this trio, the Foxy Irregulars minus Remy, have just entered into the Court of Air, which is the center courtyard for the library at CandleKeep. In fact, I should have changed this up while we were out, but I forgot. So we'll do it now. We'll do it live. We'll do it live of a map that I just stole off the internet. So it's probably not a good thing, but I did it.
Castle of Tomes. I love that.
I want to go on It's a Small World first.
But I want to go on the Matterhorn.
I'm just gonna go real close. So the road to the right is the road that you came in on, and before you is the Court of Air. So off to your right, there is a number of buildings with circular, I call them turrets. They're not turrets, but circular towers. Those are the residences of people staying here. To your left are a number of buildings. The one farthest on the bottom is the Tavern. We'll just say it's that one, whether or not it is.
Cool, works for me.
So you make your way to there, open up the door. It is morning, so you do get a number of smells that hit you pretty potently. We're talking bacon, potatoes, sausage. It is oh my God. It smells delicious. As you see a number of individuals, mostly scrawny, bookish individuals. As you're,
Nerds.
and they're a bunch of nerds, and they're kind of eating. You see, book bags, and one of them finishes up and just like book bag over the shoulder and runs past you as you go out. And you're like, ha, and goes over, and you see him go around the way back into the courtyard. Off to your right, back in the corner, you actually see something that catches your eye. You
Magic
see an
detection on everything in there, by the way. Sorry.
All right. So not every one of the scholars here have things that are magic. Maybe 1 out of every 4, and something minor, right? Nobody screams adventurer in here. Except the ogre has a circlet on his head that is glowing pretty powerful magic. And you look over and he, puts his glasses up on his eyes and gives you a curt nod as he then brings a book up and is just reading.
$5 says that's the headband of intellect.
He's like barely fitting into this place. Yeah.
He's hunched over and like a full table to himself. There are stacks of books.
And I look, I mean, so I'm kind of enthralled. The smell caught my eye until I saw the ogre, but mostly for the circlet and then the amount of books in front of him. So I guess like a kid staring at another person they've never seen before. Uzo's just kind of like looking up at him.
Yeah. So I'm trying. So you have met 2 ogres before.
Yep.
You shared a meal with them.
Yep.
We ate orc, right? Yeah.
Yeah, orc.
Yep.
Circle of life, baby.
But this is not this is breaking my impression of what I know ogres to be.
Oh yeah, those 2 ogres could barely put a sentence together. I mean, I think Andraste Cook was as much as they could comprehend and also say if they were to say that.
That's good.
That's all right. It was our own darling halfling who spoke like an ogre to say Andraste Cook. I get to rip him a bit. He's not here.
Just imagine they processed that though, and that's the only thing they processed. And they're like, "Whoa."
Uzo wants to kind of test it, but not, break from what's happening. He wants to at least see what kind of response he gets from the ogre, and he looks up at the ogre. Excuse me, I don't mean to break your attention, but I hope the food here is just as good as the books, apparently. Do you find it so?
So as you kind of walk up to the table, he puts the book down. Oh, very good, sir. Yes. The food here is magnificent. Very delectable.
Is this why you choose to read here and not in the library?
I've never thought of that. I suppose yes. I will head to the library soon, but I am just getting a little light morning reading in over breakfast.
With that, sir, I wanted to know if you are the type of scholar I had heard about who would be capable of transcribing materials on the inside for a nominal fee.
Oh, you do not have access to the library then?
Not yet. We are working on it, but time is of the essence to us.
Very good, sir. Well, you have made it this far. That is more than a lot of others. Most certainly, I can do research for you. I have 20 days left on my current journey here, if you will.
having used 10 days already, I'd imagine you know a fair layout of the library and maybe where to find things and even quick tips on where to find things to make a daily search very expedite to go in and find what you can within a day's search and then come back to us here tomorrow.
Oh, most certainly. I have done 4 tours of the library, as they say sometimes. This is my 4th. Oh no, you seem
Uzo
to have,
is tired.
Oh,
good
dear.
face though. So hey, there's that.
Yeah.
Put
That
that
is
on
the
OnlyFans.
worst face
Put
to
that on
freeze.
OnlyFans, and you're good to go.
I really want like that expression on a sticker that gets stuck all over San Francisco.
That's funny
Oh,
you say
fuck.
that. That's the poster above my bed, and as I just wait for the tape to fall.
How do you print screen on a PC?
I don't know, man.
Windows button and print screen. There's a button that says print screen. I didn't know that
I'm
was
on a-
there, but hold the Windows.
I'm
You're
on
on a
a
Mac?
Mac keyboard on a PC. That's kind of screwing me up.
Dude, that's fucking torture. I don't know. Control
Yeah,
Shift
I've got-
4, I think.
Function F13? No. That's eject.
Do
Home
you
page
know in the
up.
chat? Check.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I just took a screenshot because I have a Mac keyboard on a Mac computer.
I would like to take this moment to just say, Warren just said internet dropped for some reason, BRB. That's what happened to me. I paid for Xfinity. It's on them. Blame Xfinity. I don't know who to blame for Warren.
I love how Warren's like, I have like 800 up and down. I should have no problems.
There it is.
And he's wired.
All right, there it
He's
goes.
wired. Oh,
And
man.
we're gonna head on over to the dump screen.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I hear
Whoa! Whoa! We don't see him. Where are you?
I am
Come back to
joining right
us.
now. Sorry.
Cool. Dude, that's your hand. That's really close.
I know.
and it's frozen there.
It's
It doesn't
long
look
enough.
like your hand. It could be any body part on a molecular
You
level.
will never
Took
know.
paints off in the whole time.
Oh, I don't want to know. Nope.
Sorry. I don't. Yeah, it just like I was talking and then I didn't get a response and I was like, crap. Okay, that's it's my turn.
I'm sorry, Warren. Are you also Ethernet?
I am not. Not on this machine. Fuck you.
Well,
Damn it!
how the turns have tabled.
Table.
How the
Oh wow,
All right.
we're on a serious delay going out.
So
Are we?
I was asking, what is your price per day, sir? And that's I think where it left off because he had done 4 tours, and yeah. So I was gonna ask him his rate.
For a nominal fee of 25 gold pieces, I will find the item you are looking for and transcribe as much as I can in that time.
I think we have ourselves a deal. And he looks around to make sure, like, kind of not nefarious, but just doesn't want people overhearing. I can provide you with those things and the cash upfront, if you would like.
Very well. The library has just opened. Would you like me to start today?
Yes, please, sir. And then this evening, come back so that we can review those materials.
Very well.
And Thomas, I don't know if you got did you get my chat before?
I do not. Okay, hold on. This might break everything. Oh,
No,
it doesn't.
don't break everything.
Doesn't.
I don't think it will.
Also, I don't know how to zoom this in.
Pinch and zoom.
Okay.
All right. So I touch him and
Okay.
I give him the keywords to search for. And through Awaken Mind, and I kind of wink at him, and out of my cloth, I slide him 50 gold pieces.
All right. And he takes it in. You see him kind of note that down in a small journal that you see. Very well. I will get started right away. Is the first one, is that the most important?
Yes. The other
Very-
two are whatever you can find.
Very well. And he closes the book up and puts it in a satchel, and you see him. He grabs all the books and shoves them in a small little satchel, which you can. I don't know if you've seen a handy haversack before, but it is a small satchel with a couple of compartments, and the books definitely don't fill it up, but they go in, much like the bag of holding that Andraste has. It's just a little bit more fashionable.
As he's packing that up, Uzo says, "And the item on your head, that is very beautiful and ornate. What is going on there?" While he's packing up.
Oh, this thing. Yeah. I got it off of someone, and it changed my outlook on life.
Okay.
Love how
insight onto
Okay.
is that sort of, so in the Salvatore novel The Highwayman, right, you put the gem on somebody's you put the gem on someone disabled's forehead and they like become able-bodied person. Similarly for like learning disabilities and all that stuff, is that what's making, do I detect that's what's making this ogre an intelligent?
Yes. It is it is a headband of intellect.
Awesome.
Which definitely increases the intelligence level of the creature that is wearing it.
Sweet.
It goes
Not
up to
level,
19.
but intelligence. Yeah.
It goes up to like 19 if I remember right.
What?
19.
On a scale of 1 to 20, it kind of makes you a 19. 19. So he packs up and goes, very well. Okay, I will see you this evening, just after the library closes at 6 p.m.
As he walks out, I'd imagine Baga pokes his head out and I sort of like shove him back in. It'll be okay, Baga.
Well,
Yeah.
Why don't we get some breakfast? Because I don't think we ate on the ship, did we?
No, and
You
it
did
smells
not.
immaculate in here.
It smells amazing. Let's get some breakfast, and then I'll do the send in to Lady Jareth.
The ogre, whose name I did not catch, will be doing our first pass through the library for us, and by the time we gain entry, we will know where everything is, hopefully.
Fantastic.
I can't wait to recognize them by their face alone. Later.
The ogre?
We don't know their name. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, well, I think it is that one. Is that guy?
I do not need to check. I feel like I am inside an environment where I am completely comfortable for the first time in a long time, seeing as how they guard the gate. And most people seem to be learned and less of angry patrons like we saw with the little man in the front. I could be mistaken, and there goes my money, but I feel like I can trust that one.
Well, we don't know how rowdy the library people can get, but let's find out.
So is there anything specific you would like to do during the day while Tiny is off doing the research?
Ironically named. I like it.
As soon as we have food in front of us, Andraste will do a sending to Lady Jareth.
Uzo would I guess, converse with people around the tavern, and if we walk around outside, to just see where they're from and what brings them to the library.
Okay.
If anything plot worthy comes of those conversations, that's what he would do.
So
I'm gonna drink.
Let's do the sending first.
Okay. Yes, with food in front of me, kind of distracting me, but I will stay focused enough to send a message to Lady Jareth. And it says in the spell that you don't have to identify yourself, because if they know you, they know who it is.
Okay. It's good RP though. You're a jester. So hello, how's it going? Are you pooping?
Yeah. Oh, Laura. Yeah. Anyway. We need access to CandleKeep's library for research and need a recommendation for entry. Would you be able to provide a recommendation? Thank you. 24 words. And I'm not going to count them on my fingers.
You should add an emoji at the end.
Yeah.
Emojis. Sure. There's a little like fire emoji, which is Andraste's signature.
Oh, the library usually requires a mage or a sage of some sort. Let me ask around. I will get back to you.
Yeah, and I'll relay that back to the guys.
Are you in a trance when you do that, or is it just sort of like, what does that look like?
It's more like, so when I'm actually doing the sending, my eyes are closed and I'm like whispering the words as I'm doing the gestures necessary, because I think it's verbal and somatic. I haven't actually verbal, somatic, and material. So like holding on to my my holy symbol with one hand and drawing gestures in the air with the other, with my eyes closed as I whisper, and then I just like let it all go and wait until I hear an answer back. Mm-hmm. And when the answer comes back, my eyes just close and I turn my head away so I can focus.
Okay. Should we send? I don't know how many times you can do that, but maybe we let Remy know the status of our endeavor and make sure they are okay. That's
a good idea. And give me a moment to compose my thoughts, and I'll do a sending to them as well. It is a mid-level spell for me at this point.
Well, looking around, maybe we can also rest here, because I don't know, even if we get a recommendation today, that we will be walking through those taverns. Or who knows? Maybe our friend Tiny gets everything we need. But
I mean, that would be ideal, certainly.
We might be here overnight, so I would not be opposed to arrest, but I know that Remy and the others are waiting.
Sure.
I mean, I've only lost like 9 health, if I had to quantify it. So I'm feeling pretty spry.
That's because you bloody well face planted into the water.
Yeah, I'm still feeling pretty spry after that bad of a face plant, you know. I think I've got a lot of health. So what I'm saying is, I think we should. I guess we can stay the night, but I don't like waiting. But you know, I got nothing to wait for. Let's just stay the night.
All right.
Wait for Cappy to hop on board and let's see what he can collect. You know, but because the second we enter there, 30 days, it's all we got. Which is weird for a library. I feel like we're only going to need an hour, but I guess 30 days will be overly sufficient.
There are people who come and dedicate their lives to a topic. I'm sure 30 days is too short for most people who visit CandleKeep.
I would imagine that some of them go on quests to find books that aren't in the library, to have a steady stream to spend lines of 30 days here. But I'll also do a sending to Remy to let him know what's going on, and say, We have gotten into the outer court, waiting for admission into the library, staying in a tavern overnight. Is all well on the Chimera?
And you get back some grunting and stuff, and then you hear Clint in the background like, hold it down, as the weather is turning. He's like, we're fine, we're gonna moor out a couple of miles offshore. Just let us know when you're ready.
All right. And I'll relay that back to the others with a bit of a concerned frown, because they sounded like they were working rather hard to keep the ship safe. Harder than Remy usually works.
That's gross. I feel like we may have been a misinterpretation, but let's assume it's
no, because I heard Clint as well. And unless there's something going on that I really don't want to know about.
I've heard of tales.
He said that they were having some difficulty because of the weather, and I mean you can hear the wind.
Well, as long as they are not fighting anything other than the weather, I think the seasoned captain can manage.
One would hope.
Yeah.
So Uzo, you head out and just kind of start talking to people, and the first thing that catches your strikes you as odd is everyone is eager to talk, and in fact, so much so that they tell you about their inane research, which in such an excited tone that, like, at a certain point you're like, oh, okay, God, okay, you should go research that in the library.
I know exactly. This is grad school, and everyone is super pumped about sharing their shitty thesis with you.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. So that is exactly what's happening. And so you go out for a couple of hours before you're like, okay, these people have never been, in a fight with an ice devil. You're just like, okay, So you head back in, and throughout the course of the day, the sky does darken and a storm does come through. So by the mid-afternoon, it is raining, and it is overcast, and it is let's put it this way: the tavern is warm, the fire is engaging.
Is it like quiet, like a library in there because everyone's reading, or like a low murmur?
No, out here, it's not ruckus. Oh, sorry, it's not.
Nothing is ruckus levels of loud.
There's no mayhem going on or anything like that, but it's
got him.
Oh, yeah, my heart.
I've been waiting 2 years for that moment to get him twice.
No havoc, no pandemonium.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not like a library. This out here is not like a library, but it's a bunch of nerds. So it's speaking as well myself.
Yeah.
So Uzo tells a few of them that they're I would probably want to hear about like things that I can be like, oh, I've actually know that, whatever, I've seen that or whatever, and just Nimble writes, oh, you wouldn't say. But let them know, since Remy lets everyone and his mother know about the tavern, I let them know of an orphanage in need of teachers, for one such like yourself.
Nice. Through the give me a D20.
D20. All right. Oh man, this is not going to be great.
Not
13. Do I do a D6 inspiration?
Yeah, do a D6 on that.
You know what? Sure.
Yeah. 18. Okay.
18.
Cool.
All right. So you actually find a. Yeah, I'm just like, you actually find a Dragonborn. And I mean, it kind of, struck you as odd, and I don't know if you've seen a Dragonborn before. So you
probably in passing, but never had a conversation with one. Probably like stop like I did with the ogre, like, oh shit, but not like, yeah.
So an interesting Dragonborn as well, because it's got a tail and it's got a dragon head, but it's wearing traveling clothes, not a robe, but it has a cloak, this nice red cloak. It is a copper colored Dragonborn with tiny round, like really the Barnabas glasses. And you're like, oh, that's weird, but okay. And you start talking, and he tells you, when you mention the orphanage, he tears up a little bit, which is odd. Again, this dragon kind of creature in front of you tearing up, and he tells you the story about how he was hatched, and he grew up thinking he was a halfling. For the longest time, he just thought he was the strongest halfling because he grew up in a halfling town, and that's where he grew up. And it wasn't until a group of adventurers showed up, and they went on some adventures, and eventually they broke it to him that he was not a halfling. So then he decided to research all about Dragonborn and where they were from, and that's why he made it here. And he, being raised by people that were not his family, he immediately holds on to that orphanage idea, and he agrees to go and help teach others.
What is the Dragonborn's name?
And I will tell you his name next week. Hold on. I'm just going to first, the babynames.com, the first name I see.
Oh, no.
Baby names. I can't wait.
I mean, to be fair, that is the Mercer technique.
Donald.
Swear to God.
Madrid.
Really?
I love it.
Yes.
Why does that remind me?
Let me choose. Are there last names here? That seems kind of weird. Madrid Ruffalo.
Rafflecopter.
Like
Madrid.
related to the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I tell him, or I give him Randolph. I say, mention me and blah blah blah, and put you up and all that good stuff.
Did you say Randolph?
Randall.
Yeah, you said Randall.
I probably said Randolph. Randall.
Yes. So yeah. So you tell him to go and meet up with Randall, and he's like, I've got 5 days left here. I'm going to finish up, and then I will head up to Waterdeep, and that sounds like a great opportunity.
Thank you, Madrid.
So
good-hearted person.
All right. So then, anyone else doing anything?
Is there a shop out here in the Court of Air?
Funny, there is a small shop, and you walk in, and they have mostly spell components. Like, you're looking around, and you see incense and inks and papers, and everything people need to cast most spells. So you actually see they have they've got a list. Yeah, they have them out. They have a series of gems that are out. They're in a separate case, but it is visible through like 3 panes of glass, and you can see that there are diamonds of different values and rubies and emeralds. Is there anything you're looking for?
Well, I came in here looking for a journal just because Andraste wants to start like writing down thoughts. But now I'm thinking that I also want to get some incense and like walk over to the shopkeeper and say, Pardon me. I am not an arcane caster myself, but I have friends who cast Find Familiar. What would they need for such a spell? I would like to get some for them.
I believe.
I think it's just 10 GP of incense, but I don't remember.
I like charcoal and incense.
Cheap.
We're not with you, right? We're all doing these separate little excursions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting it as a bit of a surprise for you and for Remy, so that you guys can always have your friends with you, even if I hate your spider.
You're passing me by with random conversation people as you go from shop to shop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh wow! Oh, it's cheap. It's 10 gold pieces worth.
Yeah.
And Nick is saying Find Familiar is just a money suck. That is, I mean, our game in our home game we don't have a lot of coin, and part of that is because Nick often plays altruistic characters.
He does. I've been noticing that in Dragon of Icespire Peak, where he just he gets money and then he gives it to people, and I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
I'm cool with this, but
we were in a dwarven stronghold and not treated well at all. But an alarm rang out, and there was a orc and troll battle in the mines that we went and we dealt with handily. A couple of dwarves died, and then Nick gave his reward money back, and I was like, oh, okay, here's mine too. And then the halfling rogue is like, nope. Everyone else.
Why would you commit to giving it back?
I felt pressured. We're both like spellcasters, so I just we hang back together.
Oh. But yeah, I'll get 60 gold pieces worth of the materials that they need for Find Familiar.
Okay, that's easily done. You also he will throw in a small journal as well.
Yeah, and I'll also need to get ink and a pen and all the writing implements and stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's 1 gold piece for that. Cool. For all of that stuff, unless you're getting the stuff to put spells, copy spells.
That is not in my purview, so I don't do that, and I don't think any of our guys are ritual casters that I know of anyway. Are you? Do you have
a Book of Shadows?
I took that.
You took that feat?
Yep. I am a ritual caster. I stopped one of those abilities to take that feat. That's why I can cast from the parchments and the scrolls. Yeah.
Huh.
So Uzo, in here there are a number of you're not there. Andraste, you actually see a number of spell scrolls. Like there are quite a few that are available.
Oh, well, seeing that, I'll actually dig around in the bag of holding for a second and pull out the ranger spell scroll or whatever it was. It's a third level ranger spell, and ask. I have no use for this myself. I'm a cleric, not a ranger. Do you purchase these sorts of things?
You've seen me cast rituals.
This one isn't a ritual.
This is odd, and you see him cast a spell over it, and like, that's funny. It's written on a turtle shell.
Yes, it is. It was a rather unusual find.
Whoever designed this, I think his name was Chris. Yeah, very interesting.
Quite.
And he's like, yeah, certainly, I will certainly purchase this from you. How does 200 gold pieces sound?
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, very well. And he takes it. He's kind of, you see him just kind of look off in a direction and think, and then a few minutes later, a door opens and a small kid, you would say, 15, comes out with a sack, and it's like, everything good? Everything good? And nods, and he goes, okay. And he heads to the back, closes the door and out. here is the 200. Did I say 200?
Yes.
Yes. 200 gold pieces.
Thank you very much.
Did you don't yourself use spell scrolls, but we have some available.
All right, and I do have friends who cast from spell scrolls, and I can cast cleric spell scrolls, of course.
Okay.
I'll think about that and talk and mention it to my friends.
We also have the if you have a friend that with a spell book, we have the inks and to be able to transcribe them.
Oh,
so if you need that.
That is very good to know. Thank you. I imagine we're going to be here for several days while we wait for a couple of things, but I'm sure I'll be back with my friends.
It costs me time and money to transcribe that or whatever spells that I want. If she gets those inks and stuff, it just costs me time, not money anymore, right?
So it is 50 gold pieces in ink and parchment per spell level and 1 hour per spell level. So it's 100 gold pieces to transcribe a second level spell. That is it is the time it takes you to do the intricate arcane drawings and mess up and try again. That is the component cost of what it takes.
Sure. All right. Well, I thank you very much, and I'm sure I'll be directing more business your direction.
Very well, thank you.
And I'll pull up the hood as I step out into the rain.
And it's starting to come down. And do you head back to the tavern, or are you?
Yeah, I'll head back to the tavern and look for the guys.
Okay. So you come back in, pull the hood back, shake it off. Where are you? Ruckus, did you do anything? Did you leave the tavern?
I looked around. Is there any other is there like magical item shops or only ones with magical components? Like
it is almost exclusively magical components. Yeah, this isn't known as a great place to buy magical items.
Regardless of the warning, then I'll just say I wasted my time looking for a shop that wasn't just components. Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so you went around. You kind of you definitely see Uzo at times like trying to get away from people and like kind of like walking backwards and like tracking around places until they leave, and then you see him having a really great conversation with a Dragonborn, a copper Dragonborn, and then it starts to get dark and stormy, and you head back to the tavern.
Sweet. Can I be caught in a little bit of that storm? Because I would come back with like soaked hair and being like, I couldn't find it anywhere. That's it.
All right.
Warren, you're muted.
What were you looking for, Ruckus? Thank you.
Magical shops with more magical items, possibly whatever they had available, just to see, to test the shop owner, but also to see if I could complete my set of colored bags, tan, gray, and rust. There's a goat in the rust bag.
You were looking for another bag full of magical animals.
Oh, yeah. Even though we haven't named a season 2 bag. But I'm totally going to look for that bag.
This is the place where you might be able to find the components to build your own bag. If anywhere in the realms has that ability, it could be this.
Oh, sweet God.
And what do I know?
And I'll come walking up at that point, shaking rain off of my cloak.
I want you to hear.
Of the forest.
I couldn't. Huh?
As Andraste walks up, Uzo says, "Does this remind you of the forest?"
Not so much, but it's nice. It's the rain and the seawater together are a really nice smell. Uzo, I have a present for you.
And Uzo kind of hides behind Ruckus. What is it?
It's good. You'll like it. I promise.
That's right.
I can't believe I was afraid of you.
She wouldn't fireball me with you around my neck, Baga. Okay. That's true.
Probably true, actually. And I'll reach into the bag of holding and pull out half of what I got, so 30 gold pieces worth, and hand it over to him.
Thank you, Androste. This is, I don't know what to say. Thank you very much. I want to use this right away. So hopefully, Lady Jareth will come back with some information or a recommendation. Thank you so much, Androste. This means a lot to me.
The shop also has spell scrolls and the magical inks and everything. You might want to go and have a look. Maybe tomorrow, after, assuming we're not let in, tomorrow morning. They have a lot of stuff that you might find really interesting for that book of yours.
This is already more than enough, but I will absolutely like to endeavor a search. What exactly did you give me?
I gave you 30 gold pieces worth of the incense and charcoal that you need to cast Find Familiar.
Okay.
So you basically have 3 more charges of Find Familiar with that. And
the spider kind of crawls out and peeks out and say, "You are growing on her. Just try to hang back a little bit. Give her her space."
And Androsa just wrinkles her nose like, I don't particularly like spiders, but he seems to be a friend and very helpful, as he was at the manor. So,
you see, he whispers.
Shush. Shush, I have a reputation to maintain.
Be hugged by all 8 of those arms later.
Oh.
Or legs.
Nope. Nope.
All right. So time passes, and eventually you start to see people, students, grad students, if you will, kind of coming back in, shaking off, and heading to different tables, and they're talking excitedly amongst themselves about their finds today. And through all of that, a number of them come in, and finally Tiny ducks his head in through the doorway and sees you and heads over.
We kind of stay around the table that he had reserved this morning, and I wave him over. Ruckus and Droste, this is my friend. I didn't catch your name, sir.
Oh, my name is Tiny. It's very pleasant to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well, Tiny.
It is a name
ironic.
It's a name that they gave me here. A nickname, if you will.
Not without humor, this place.
So,
did you go through a growth spurt, or were you always giant and named Tiny? That's my question.
This is Ruckus. He is not as enlightened as you are, but he makes do. And this is Androste Niaro, a friend of mine.
Yes, I am sure as a child I was small.
It's generally how it works, yes.
Yes.
That tracks.
What were you able to discover inside your searchings?
There were a number of books that I was able to pull information from each of the book to create sort of a more complete picture, if you will. I believe that on the first search I have, I found at least what was available. That I could find. I did cross-reference. I did find a number of books had little information, but the ones that had the most were in the religion section. So I spent most of my time there. Do you want to know about it, or I have my notes? I could give you my notes, or I could kind of tell you what I have learned.
Are you around tomorrow?
I am.
I am almost thinking that we review this ourselves and put together, we know, what we know and then consult our friend here? Or do you think it is prudent to bring him into the conversation for enlightenment? Andraste, Rakis, what do you think?
Talking about Cappy, aren't you?
I think it would be a good idea to have a look over the notes because, I mean, some things may jump out to us that may not have jumped out to our learned friend just because of what we know. And then
I agree.
And then come back and discuss further tomorrow.
Yes, I think that is what is needed. Thank you, sir. If you can hand over the parchment, or what did he do? Notepad, parchments, books?
He put it into a notebook, and he kind of looks at it and rips out the first like 5 pages, and then slides the book over to you. These were from yesterday.
Thank you. Uzo holds up the book and kind of pencils over it, and
I'll come and like lean over his shoulder to read as well.
Uzo puts
on the opposite shoulder is where the spider is.
Okay. Uzo puts a hand on the ogre's knee, and he says, "Thank you, friend." And then inside Awakened Mind, he goes and mentions to him, "Is what I ask for in here or on a separate document?"
2 of them are there. I could not find anything on the last.
Thank you, friend. And he pats the knee and just gives a nod, and he looks through. And yeah, opens the page to what looks to be Bahamut, and then towards the back section of the book and the notes, you see notes to an island that you might have heard reference before with Trace and Stace and Uzo. But he says, "This is for my reference for later. What we need with regard to Bahamut is here."
All right, let's have a look.
So I'm going to retcon that. You do see all three of your searches are in there.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I wish I'd gotten a screenshot of that face.
And then Uzo kind of rifles forward and backwards and then forwards, and then he sees something that he thought wasn't in there, and he quickly turns the page. So I guess Uzo tries with sleight of hand.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, because you took the notes rather than the verbal version, I'm going to write this up and send it to you so that we can go over this on the next episode.
Okay.
Nice.
Can I do a perception check to see if because I'm reading over his shoulder to see if I can see what he was trying to hide.
So sleight of hand check, Uzo, perception check, Andraste.
Me first. All right, here we go.
First, go.
Ooh, 9.
15.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So Andraste, you definitely saw the words of the Night Serpent.
Okay. And I like her expression does not change at all. She just tucks that away in the back of her mind, and then like leans over and is like, "Well, what about this about Bahamut?" Completely covering the fact that she just saw what Uzo was trying to hide.
Can Uzo perceive that? He might have seen her.
Called insight.
Insight? Can he insight that?
Insight.
Can we call insight Uzo perceive, regardless of the show now, though?
Oh my god.
All right. 21.
Yeah, I'm not even going to roll. I'm not even going to bother rolling because I have nothing in deception.
Just try.
So, I literally physically cannot roll high enough to not be spotted.
I will second you if you roll a 20.
You know what? Fine.
How about
because
A hit of
Uzo is
adrenaline.
going
Do it.
to Jesus Christ. Uzo is going to similarly pretend like he's not aware. So it's just a back and forth of like, nope. Did you see it? Nope. 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 Okay.
Can I insight that?
Well, your original thing, you saw him trying to hide it, and then you saw him catch you seeing it.
Okay.
She didn't see me catch. No, she didn't. Yeah, she saw me try to hide it.
All right, insight check on it.
Did she see you seeing her seeing you?
Yeah, exactly.
Find out.
Exactly.
How much can we do this back and forth? Oh my goodness.
Oh shit.
I am bad at deception, but god damn it, I could see through people.
Would mine be performance to pretend that I don't know?
Deception.
Deception. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That's pretty good. We'll see. This is so fun.
Come on.
So she's wise to the fact that I know that she saw.
Yeah.
I know I know that he knows that I know.
Yeah. Okay.
And so knowing that he knows what I know, I'm just gonna give him a look and just like raise an eyebrow slightly, and then
Uzo
and then go back to the notes.
And just as quickly, he kind of like not acknowledges, but he knows that he's like shit. Yeah.
That was fun. That's the first time that Andraste has lied and gotten caught. And had to make a fucking deception check.
All right, hold on, give me a moment. We've got a little bit of time here, yeah.
It's
Sure.
like Death Note with
what are you doing?
game.
I don't know. What are you doing?
That was fun.
That is great. Well, and honestly, it makes sense because in the back of Andraste's mind, this whole time, she remembers that you were looking specifically for the Night Serpent because your goals aligned. So her brain would be very much like grab those words and hold on to them, just like I see we're still looking for that. Good to know.
And Uzo knows that that's the perception, and he's like, yeah, he assumes that's where you're going as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a fair assumption since that's the only time that we've talked about the Night Serpent.
Yeah.
So, Warren, you can check your email.
Ooh.
Oh Jesus.
Ooh.
How fast can you read, Warren?
Pretty fast. No, not that
Was
fast.
the Night
But
Serpent put in the spam folder because it sounded sexual?
I got it.
So yeah, skim it over. I didn't clean it up for today, but you can kind of.
Did he write this in Ogre?
No, he wrote it in Common.
Okay.
And
I was
fact,
like, I can read any language.
His handwriting is actually better than mine. I'll say that.
I would have told him to write down that extra shit in a different language. Fuck.
Too late.
I know, way too late.
So if you want to kind of talk about the first part of that now, we've got a little time.
Okay, so Uzo sort of skims and reads through. So the way reading works for Uzo is that like the characters jump off to symbol, almost like hieroglyphs. So if there's a correction that needs to be made, feel free. And he's just saying, in his natural form, Bahamut was a massive dragon, 100 feet long, with the tail that is the same length of his body. Platinum scales tougher than any shield. Some thought to be virtually indestructible, and it glowed with a faint blue sheen. Blue eyes and the exact color, which was hard to specify, may have depended on Bahamut's mood. As Zymor, he was described as a huge dragon wrapped in scintillating aura of light, so brilliant that it was impossible to tell his color. Bahamut's favorite food, Ruckus, was frost blades of grass, honey, and daisy petals. So if you're looking to give him a treat, that's what you can reward him with.
That would take an awful lot of daisy petals to feed 100-foot-long dragon.
You were telling me.
I
But he
wish we had
needed no
common interests,
sustenance.
you know?
He needed no sustenance while he was in his palace. The personality of Bahamut is said to be stern and very disapproving of evil, always arguing with Asgaroth about a crusade against it. He accepted no excuses for evil acts and did not tolerate even minor offenses by evil creatures. Bagar pokes his head out and starts to read as well.
Sure. It's his dad it's talking about.
Okay, Bagar, shut up. In spite of his stance, also considered one of the most compassionate beings in the multiverse, had limitless empathy for the downtrodden, the dispossessed, and the helpless.
Oh, I see. I see why he found you.
I guess.
Burn.
Maybe. I don't know what.
No. That actually was not meant to be a burn. They share a similar goal in helping lift up the downtrodden.
Does no one know when I jest?
I just wanted to make sure that Uzo knows that I'm very deliberately not roasting him.
I am not taking that to any offense, Andraste, but a lot of my actions, which you very well know, can be construed or interpreted as evil when that is not the intention. I just hope that he sees through that as well.
Well, I mean, he's still with you, as much as he can be. So, yes, I would think.
By draconic standards, as he continues to read, Bahamut was neither vain nor desirous of treasure. He valued wisdom, knowledge, prophecies, and song. He used the great wealth he had amassed to help those in need, while using the magic items he gathered to further his goals. However, he also pursued viciously, usually sending champions and followers, those who tried to steal the hoard from his palace after all. He also pursued viciously those who tried to steal the hoard from his palace.
After all, he was the god of justice.
After all, he was the god of justice.
Oh, that
Justice.
I mean, if you nick things from a dragon, you're sort of asking for whatever you get.
They teach you that as a young one. Dragons value their hoard. Evil and benevolent. Why you would choose to steal from a dragon is beyond me.
If you think you can take it, then you take from a dragon.
Bahamut was ever watchful against the machinations of Tiamat, and never interfered in the affairs of mortal creatures unless his actions could also stop her evil schemes. However, when he confronted her, he always took the necessary actions to stop the spread of her influence and undo whatever damage she had done. Bahamut was unable to turn his back on any good creatures in need, however, even if Tiamat was involved. But he preferred to help them in indirect ways, such as giving them useful information, needed advice that bordered on prophecy, safe refuge, or healing and bolstering them with powerful magic. Bahamut was able. Uzo's kind of skimming and going. You very much notice that Uzo is like scanning different parts of it, and he's not going in succession at any time. He's just looking at symbols that pop out to him.
Yeah.
So the section about Bahamut in his human forms, like, comes out to you as well.
Where is that? Oh, okay. Bahamut spent half of his time traveling the material planes, many worlds, including Toru, in the guise of an old man. In this form, he traveled from one place to another with no apparent purpose, and was quick to offer advice, information, or assistance to other travelers he encountered on the road. He always tried to assess the worthiness, viewed through a lens of justice, nobility, and honor, of everyone he met while traveling. Some said that Bahamut had visited every known world and plane during these travels at least once in his lifetime. When Bahamut assumed the form of the old man, he was usually accompanied by 7 gold great worms, polymorphed into canaries or some other small animal form, always ready to attack anyone foolish enough to threaten their god. He spent the rest of his time holding court in a shining palace on Celestia. Good aligned clerics and paladins usually took pilgrimage to his castle seeking to receive the blessings of the Platinum Dragon. Bahamut was ever watchful of the machinations of Tiamat.
It sounds like he's the balance to her.
So I think, with that, I think you kind of get an idea of the breadth of research that Tanya was able to do in the short amount of time, and you look at how much is here and how much is in your other two searches, and you get the sense that this is everything you're gonna get.
This seems like a very exhaustive list. Then he looks to Tiny and he says, "Thank you, sir." And he continues to read a little. Bahamut disdained combat and preferred to talk with his opponents and convince them to surrender using his legendary diplomatic skills. Well, he did not tap me for that task, I imagine.
Well, I imagine that's part of why the four of us came together. Remy's the better talker of us.
Bahamut spoke many languages, including Draconic, Celestial, and Common, although the ability to speak to any intelligent creature, thanks to his ever-present form of telepathy. Despite his aversion to battle, he was capable of defending himself along with standard powers and godly senses of a deity of his rank. Bahamut had the ability to see beings and breathe underwater indefinitely. Look at that. Likewise, he could freely use his breath weapons or cast spells while underwater.
Oh.
I've never tried to cast underwater.
Anything that you have to speak would be, I think, nigh impossible.
Not without armor, though, right?
I don't know. I've never
question.
experimented. I imagine we could find out at some point.
Well, when we go to the shimmering,
Air bubbles.
when we go to the gate in the ocean, the X known as the shimmering, we very well might need to find out.
Yeah, fair enough.
So with this information and then more information coming for you guys to discern, to decipher, to discuss, we will do that next time on Chaos Agents next Tuesday, where there will be more information from Dendar that I will send to you. And the other thing, you know where it is.
Uzo doesn't get any sleep. He reads all night.
Oh boy. I really hope they don't take that point of exhaustion.
This is Ruckus's leg workout day. Yeah. That's what this is. But this makes more sense.
I didn't take a point of exhaustion. It makes the same amount of sense.
So one thing that I have to say is that so we're done. Thank you, guys. Is the storyline of Uzo ties in so well with Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
And I, when that started in my mind, I had no idea it was like it fit so well. Like it's almost mind blowing, just the way that your character of a beggar on the street, and then that happens to be one of the forms that Bahamut likes to take.
Yeah,
is a blind beggar on the street. Wow, holy cow!
It's a really good way to test people's true natures.
Yeah. Throughout scripture, all throughout the world, right? God visits people as the downtrodden too. What's that story? Jesus visited like 3 people during the night, or it came in 3 forms to one person, and he was always turned away. I guess with Dendar, definitely the arc of Uzo's hatred for affluence seemed to fit with the reset. In hindsight, it's like definitely fitting a square peg into a round hole. Like I wanted so desperately to make that work. And the turn of Medusa inside the Bahamut priesthood definitely changed his perspective, because I was envisioning her being sort of like a servant of Dendar. And
corrupting and guiding him in that direction.
Well, enabling more so, and having to make a choice between the two. And now that I don't have to make that choice anymore, I have no idea where the ending goes. But still definitely curious, because under his initial pursuit with following who he thought was Dendar, he kind of romanticized the idea
of the world ending,
of the world ender. Yeah, the idea of that being right. Like, who would watch all this suffering and play the scales of justice and not just hit hard delete, right? Like, it's because the only person that can hit hard delete is trapped away. That's why.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well.
Dark.
Quite.
Uzo League dark.
So
badass.
Don't cut yourself on that edge there, Lord.
I'm grateful that my 3rd edition Forgotten Realms book had a small section on CandleKeep that included the how to get into the place, which is different in 3rd edition than 5th edition.
I was going to say, because I'm playing Descent into Avernus, and we had to go to CandleKeep, and it was just give them a book. Cool. Have free reign of the library.
So it was you had to have a recommendation from a powerful mage or a sage or a learned individual, and a tome that's not in the collection worth over 1,000 gold pieces, which it's all happening in that limited run. Totally worth.
Yeah, that does not exist anymore, and quite honestly, it lost its value to Andraste real fast.
So not going into the library, Uzo also misses an opportunity, because in the back of my head, I definitely was gonna stick the manuscript in a slot, like inside somewhere in the library. I was gonna fucking just sort of like sneak it in there as like a thing. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask the ogre to do that for me.
Yeah. There are any number of people
cataloging.
First off, one of the things is the library is so vast, and it's so it's not necessarily unorganized, but things are hidden, right? So being able to find lore that nobody else has found, or stories that nobody else has found, would be a big thing. So if you were able to stick it in there, or even say, hey, here's something that I found in there, but don't tell anybody, it might I snuck this out, but you got to put it back for me because I can't get out the front gates.
Yes.
If I get out, because you can't leave with something from there, right? Because the magic protections. So you can be like, I thought I was going to steal this, but I can't. You got to put it back for me.
Uzo's doing that. I'm calling it. I'm doing that.
Oh, no.
We're going to start next episode with that. I'm doing that. Yes.
Fantastic. It'll be out of the party, and that makes me happy.
There's another copy at the orphanage, but those are the only two. That's
noted.
It.
All right. So that is going to wrap it up for us on this episode of the Chaos Agents. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for those of listening on the podcast. Warren, we should do some testing on your microphone, see what's up with that.
What? I'm gonna rewatch this now. You're crazy.
No, it's you sound like garbage sometimes, and it's not your voice, because you have a fantastic voice. There's something going on with your mic.
Or it might be trying to auto cancel stuff, and hard to say.
Oh, if we're talking all at the same time and that's when it's happening, that's probably why, because I'm using the web client.
Oh.
I like
all right.
Thomas's reaction.
You've broken Thomas's heart, man.
All right, so we are going to wrap it up. What are the big things? Please subscribe. As we get to the 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, we are going to give away an awesome crafted item from Squeal the Bard. It's enchanted with his kindness. And big book giveaways here. Followers on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're gonna, we're reaching some good numbers, and we want to keep growing, so we can continue to get people to watch
and to grow.
Yeah, we have so many things in the post right now. In post right now, mostly Jaws of the Lion, some Untitled podcast, a lot of stuff. So,
and what else, Aaron? What do you got?
What do you guys got going on? What are you doing?
What do you got, Aaron?
We got the next episode coming out of Movie Talk. I just need to find some elements, and then it should be done. But
what's the topic?
We got Boondock Saints, bruh. The best movie.
Is there anywhere to watch that right now? For free?
I think it's on Netflix.
It's not for free, but on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah.
I admit I have never seen Boondock Saints.
I think that I tried to watch it and I was like, meh.
I think I started to watch it once with my ex, but stuff tied up with my ex is always fun.
Prime Video. That's where you watch it. That's where it is.
All right. Well, I have access to that.
Nice. And if you have Prime Video, then you also have Twitch Prime, so you should subscribe.
Nice.
I'm gonna put watching a movie with a significant other in the same vein as watching it in the background.
Not for me, because I came out of Watchmen with very strong opinions that turned into a fight.
If you watch
Watchmen, yeah.
The movie or the HBO?
The movie. This was an X back in Fairbanks, mate. I had very strong opinions of I'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah. I had strong opinions on Fantastic Four as well.
Fan Four Stick?
Which one? The Chris Evans or the Michael B. Jordan?
Michael Chitlis as the Thing, yeah. They have to make a crappy movie to keep the rights every 4 years or whatever it is. It's like you're just going to keep getting crappy. All right. I haven't seen the latest one, though. Wait, or did I? I think no. Was Michael B. Jordan
boring one? You probably Yeah.
That's the most recent one.
Yeah.
The other one had Jessica Alba, and the other one had really good. Had a really good depiction of Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it had the dude from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Michael Chitlis.
Not narrow it down.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go. We're gonna go to. I have to work tomorrow. Oh my god.
So I have been reminded by a friend of mine that since we're discussing projects, I have one to share as well that I haven't discussed on stream yet. That I think I can discuss, Thomas. Possibly, yes. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neat. So yes, there has been some reference to it on the Discord, and I guess this will be the great big announcement. I am working on a Delta Green podcast with Tom Ogus and Ben Squeal the Bard and our friend NGC457 and a voice that none of you will know, Tom's cousin Joseph, and we are playing members of the R-Cell, dealing with things that Delta Green deals with. It's Call of Cthulhu, but more competent and modern times and brutal. We're in the middle of a situation at the moment that has me going, are you kidding me? This is our first mission. Are we going to die? But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a produced podcast because we're not doing it on a live stream or anything like that. So I have time to actually edit it and put in sound effects and background music and fun stuff like that. And I worked on the introduction for episode 1 today, and I am very happy with how it turned out. So keep your ears peeled for that, and we'll see what happens.
That is awesome. From all of us, including Warren, we're going to go. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, he's been frozen there for a while.
Yeah, he's stuck again.
Frozen.
All right.
I
Thank you,
just
everyone.
noticed it.